What's up, dirtbags? What pushes someone to walk away from a normal life, strap on a pack, and disappear into the wild? For Emily Schrick, it all started in 2018 with a solo thru hike of the Pacific Crest Trail, her first ever long distance trek. She ditched med school plans, left behind stability, and stepped into the unknown. But was it a breaking point that sent her down this path, or a slow realization that she was meant for something different? In this episode, Emily shares how that first hike changed everything, what it's really like to be a solo female thru hiker, and how she's carved out a dirtbag lifestyle that lets her stay on the move. We get into the highs, the brutal lows, and the unexpected moments, from a failed hike in Corsica to road tripping solo across Iceland. Plus, she drops some serious wisdom for anyone dreaming of taking the leap into a life less ordinary. If you've ever felt the pull to quit your job, hit the trail, and figure it out as you go, this episode could be perfect for you. Let's get into it.
Gothic.
I've been doing some traveling lately,
Yeah.
right? You were like on a
Yeah.
trip.
I was just
Um,
on a trip. Yeah.
okay. Why
I
don't
went to
we,
Arizona.
yeah, let's roll into that. Do you want to just do like, an intro? We don't know each other. I would love
Yeah.
to,
We
a
had
little
like
bit about
one or
you.
two emails. Yeah.
Yeah, right from your social media and kind of looking into you, but do you want to just give an intro of
Yeah,
yourself and
definitely.
tell me a little more about I love that you wrote to me and you were like, I felt compelled to write to you after I listened to your trashy mini-sode or
Oh
whatever you
yeah, it was
listened
so
to. It
fun.
was
Yeah, it
great.
was yeah. I listened to the first episode. I was like, "Oh, I think we'll have fun." Like or just, I think it'll be fun because it's just fun. Chatting's fun,
Bantering,
about
I know.
outdoor stuff and I was like, it doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be so like
No, yeah, I just want it to
intense.
be
Like we're just gonna have like a
conversational.
good time. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Okay, well I'll just jump in. So I'm Emily. Um, Gosh, sometimes I don't even know where to start. I don't like podcasts a lot, so I'm just kind of like, oh, I just start talking.
we're just
But
friends that met in a bar,
we're
Emily,
just friends I
you
met in a
know?
bar. Okay, cool. Well, I'm Emily. I love being outside. I don't know. You can probably see all my cute little like
I see
pins and patches that
all
I
your
collect from my
all your
travels.
all your nerdy patches and stickers in the
My
back.
nerdy patches and stickers. Yes, I'm glad that you agree. Yeah. And I'm in my bed right now, so I literally these guys guard me at night, like a
Beautiful.
national park dream catcher situation.
Hell yeah.
Um, but yeah, I got my love or got my start, I guess, like hiking and backpacking and being outside like in college. Definitely was not something I ever like anticipated. I think just when you live in Washington suddenly for a little bit, you're like, trees, mountains, water, everything's there. Like, oh my God, got to go explore it. Um, and yeah, I thru hiked the PCT then in 2018. That was never on the radar too. Um, my mom gave me Wild as like a little book when I went to go study abroad in Peru. She was like, "This might inspire you. Like you're going out on this like crazy study abroad trip where I had to like camp in the Amazon for a week, and I hadn't been camping since I was like a Girl Scout in grade school."
Hope you remembered all those
And
skills.
no. I feel like, well, my mom was one of our troop leaders, but Girl Scouts in grade school was very much like, sell the cookies, and we didn't camp very much, my Girl Scout troop. We were like the Bay Area Girl Scouts, not the Sierra Nevada Girl Scouts.
The front country scouts.
The front country scouts, definitely. So yeah, no real like growing up outdoor experience that much. So yeah, I read Wild and I was like, wow, this woman had a experience. And I was like, okay, well, I don't think Peru is going to be anything like this. And just went on my merry way and really didn't give two thoughts about the PCT again until I was in Oregon with my friend senior year of college, and we were in the Columbia River Gorge. And I was like, oh my God, that bridge is where that girl ended that hike, you know, whatever. So like, let's go see it, let's just go see the bridge. So we went to the bridge and I was like, cool. And then again, didn't think too much about the PCT until maybe a couple years later. It was like a couple years after graduation. Definitely kind of in the like, what am I even doing right
Mm-hmm.
now? Time of life. Saw somebody. So this was 2016. I was just scrolling through the gram and I was like, that's a pretty picture. And then I clicked on it and I went to the person's page and I was like, wow, lots of pretty pictures. I was like, what is happening? And I was like, okay, I got to follow along. And then I realized she was hiking the PCT.
Mm.
And then one of my friends from college, I found out, I guess 6 months later, 9 months later, that he was about to start hiking the PCT. And I was like, why can't I hike the PCT? Like, what the heck? Like, that's not fair. Like, how come he gets to and I don't? I was like, well, you can. You just said it. You're just putting that limiting belief on you. Who
Right.
says you can't?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And then everything from there just kind of took off more and
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Crazy. I'm assuming you
Super
went
crazy.
south to north, as most people do.
I went south to north. Yeah. I hiked
Okay.
northbound. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, a
And
year later it was me down there instead of my friend.
uh, I still, I also had a dream of through hiking the PCT many years
Yeah.
ago. I almost did it. Well, I started in the planning phases with my good friend Greg Polton,
Oh,
and then
fun.
my brother wanted to tag along, and we bought. I'm looking over at my bookshelf right now. I think it's like Yogi's
The
Guide
like
to the
five, oh
PCT.
yeah, 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 yeah. I have that.
Yeah,
Yep.
and there's like a big book and there's a smaller book. And so we bought all that and we were really looking into it. I'm actually surprised I didn't do it because I am a person that when I start to sort of plan something or dream it up, I usually
You're on
do
the
it.
track. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like to dream up and do a lot of things like a lot of us do.
Yeah.
But with something like that that's really big, I usually do something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm a little surprised I haven't. And then I had a work colleague pseudo friend that did it it's probably been a number of years now.
I
But
know
she
time.
completed it. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
time is
Awesome.
crazy as you get older.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just last year. No, it was like 7 years ago. Like what?
And COVID put an extra fast through on it. I mean, I hiked in 2018 and it's 2025 now, and I still think
Yeah.
it
Was yesterday.
just happened and
Right.
it didn't.
Such a time is such a it's a time fuck, especially as you
Yeah.
get older.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. And it's
just
so crazy because some of the people I met on the trail too, it's like, wow, we've known each other for, I mean, I think it's 7 years, right?
mm-hmm.
I think that was
Yeah.
7 years ago.
It was coming up on 7
Um,
because yeah, you would have started what, April?
April. Yeah. So yeah. So it's like coming up on 7 years and I'm like, I can't believe I've now known these people for 7 years, but I only really interacted with them truly for like maximum of a few months,
Yeah.
like actually in person, maybe like not even. Some of these people you just really meet in passing
Yeah.
and then you just know each other because you're connected online and stuff. But has it really been that long? That's wild. It's
It's
wild.
super, super wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like thinking about it too much
I
because then
know.
I just go like I spiral.
I know. I'm starting to see, I work in education. And so when I work with kids and my COVID kids my seniors
Oh
back in
my God.
2020, when they graduated from college last year already. I'm like,
Oh, what? Oh
they
my
were
God.
little
That's they
18-year-old
were
babies. They're in the workforce somewhere. What?
when I was in Arizona, there was like, I don't know, like old COVID signage, like at this like botanical garden or wherever I was at. And I heard a kid ask her dad. So she's like speaking and can form sentences and clearly can read, right? This child, I don't know how old she was. I didn't actually look over. She's like, what is that? And he's like explaining what COVID was to her. And I'm just sitting there listening to a dad explaining to his probably grade school kid what COVID was. And he was like, you don't remember you were a baby. And I was like, oh my God, the babies during COVID are thinking, breathing humans, like can form sentences. This is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. It's absolutely nuts. Yeah. I have sophomores in high school right now that were in 6th grade. We were just talking about how they were
Time.
some were fully online, some were in the school in New York City public schools. I wasn't here at that
Oh,
time, but
okay.
but the ones that were in the building were like podded into like groups. And they
Oh,
were explaining
they're
this to
like, you
me
get this
the other
classroom
day.
and you get this classroom and
And
this
they were all
teacher and
and a
these
lot of them,
kids.
yeah, and a lot of
Wow.
them were outside all day. And they were
Oh,
yeah,
that's actually kind of cool to hear what
which is great.
happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they were very spread out
Was,
and whatever, but I'm like like boys, they're young men. They're way
yeah.
taller than me. Their voices are low, Miss Fisher. And I'm like, you were a little baby then.
Yeah.
And that I don't
Yeah,
Yeah, where does time
yeah,
go?
word time. I don't know.
Super weird. Super, super weird. So you said you like quit life back in 2018 to through hike the PCT. What pushed you over the edge to like make that leap? And was there a breaking point in particular, or was it like a slow burn to realize that?
That's a good question. I feel like because I was so, I guess kind of rewinding a little bit, back in college, I was pre-med and I knew pretty much going into my junior and senior years of college, I was not going to be applying to medical school while I was still in college. I knew I was going to be taking a year off minimum. Um, And I couldn't even tell you more than that. I was like, I'm going to graduate. I'm going to study for the MCAT. I'm going to take the MCAT after graduation because I can't focus on more than one thing. That's way too much for my brain. Should have been an indicator right there when I was thinking about that, that maybe you can't do that, you know? But maybe medical school might be a little bit too much
Be
for
time
you
to
if you
pivot.
can't
Yeah,
do
pivot.
both of those things at once.
Yeah.
Um, so I did do that though. I graduated college, I took the summer off, and then in the fall I started studying for the MCAT and I took 2 days off between October and January when I tested of studying. So every single it was 10-hour days studying all day. I think I took Thanksgiving Day off and Christmas Day off with studying. And then every other day, I know it was wild. I mean, I was very, very focused. I potentially have ADHD. I don't really know, but
Same.
let's just say that I was hyper fixated on this and nothing was getting in my way, and I had to take this test and do well. I actually did great on the test.
I
So
would
that's
think
a
with all
side
that
note. I
studying,
was,
my
oh
goodness.
yeah,
And
I
maybe
would
with
hope, right?
undiagnosed ADHD, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what, bird, dog. Yeah.
I think that was the last time I was ever able to, well, no, because I was pretty fixated on the PCT too and doing that and planning for that. But definitely the last time I was educationally fixated was studying for the MCAT. Must hit the goal. I still have that goal mentality.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll
but
probably never be there ever again.
no, I
Counseling
don't think so.
I took
Yeah.
a counseling praxis to get
No.
my school counselor license back in 2017. Never
Uh-huh.
again. Never
Never.
again. Never again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's like, I mean,
It's
I mean,
painful. That is
it's
the word.
painful.
Hmm.
I hated I didn't like hate every minute. Some of it was actually exciting because I finally understood some things. Taking a year of organic chemistry and almost like 2 quarters of biochem, and I didn't get it in college. And then suddenly it like clicked when I was studying for the MCAT. I was like, why couldn't it have been explained this way? Like maybe I would have been somewhere. Anyways, I was just kind of like, what? But so some of it was great. Mostly it was painful. Did well, was working at it like for a doctor, like I was doing like a scribe, ophthalmic technician ship kind of thing. Um, and then I realized how much I hated medical practice, private practice. I hated everything about it. I hated the job. I mean, I didn't hate it in all ways, but I pretty much hated it. In most ways. I started spiraling. You don't want to do this. Look at the doctor. He looks miserable. His life is falling apart. Sorry. But, and he's toiling away at his desk after patients all day,
Mm.
doing chart review and stuff. I get to go home and I don't have to worry about this because of what I do. And so that was a good part, but watching him was the yikes. So wasn't happy, but I still was kind of like, well, maybe it wouldn't be this way in like your world and all this stuff. So don't write it off at all. But then when I was seeing, and during this time I had discovered hiking in college, right? So every time every second I had, I was trying to get outside, go explore a national park. My best friend and I at the time, we did a Utah national parks road trip.
Mm.
I think we did 1 week and we drove from San Francisco to Salt Lake City and then we did all five and we drove home. It was a whirlwind trip and I was like, that was so great. I was tired and exhausted and hated driving after it, but I
Worth
had
it.
never been there. So it was just so amazing and to see all those new places. And then I was like learning more about the PCT because I was following that woman who was hiking the PCT and all this stuff. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, there's so much out there to do. I learned how to backpack. I went backpacking for the first time in 2016. And then I planned a whole trip with my mom in 2017 in Yosemite. And we did our first multi-night trip. And um, so I was just like, loved being outside. So I feel like it was just like this slow, to answer your original question.
A slow
I
burn.
think I think it was a slow burn that just kind of hit me when I felt so jealous that my friend was able to go. And I was, oh yeah, what the heck? Like, I want to do that. I didn't know I wanted to do it until I
Yeah.
was jealous that I couldn't have it.
Yeah. Did you invent the term FOMO then?
Yeah,
It's like
maybe,
true
right?
FOMO.
This is back
Sounds
in
like it.
2017. Like, I
I
don't when
I
did
think you
FOMO
did.
become a thing? Yeah,
Let's
didn't
give
have a word for it, but yeah.
let's give you credit for it. It sounds like it. It really sounds like it. I know. That's me all the time from my office window. I'm like, what's going on out there?
Out
Everyone
there in that
having
big city.
all these adventures. Yeah. I mean, there's probably a lot of people jealous that I live in New York City. Let's be real. But to get out of the city and
Yeah,
get into some, I mean, there's some beautiful places out east, don't get me wrong.
yeah.
It's just New York traffic it's something else. It
Oh, I
is.
bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to New York City many times, but I've never left the city when I
Yeah.
visited. It was a New York City trip.
Yeah.
Actually,
Just
that's a lie. I went for my friend's wedding last year, but I took the train. I didn't have to get into a car ever.
Yeah, I mean, I could take the trains lots of places up and down the coast.
Yeah.
I just bought a lighter of a RAV4 last summer when I'm originally
Oh,
from
nice.
Minnesota, so I was home because I work in public schools. I was home last
Yeah.
summer visiting
Nice.
the in-laws and bought a beat up RAV4, and I've been taking it around and out upstate and yeah, but it's
Awesome.
man, New York City traffic though. It's the
Yeah.
absolute worst. People
Yeah.
are crazy. The way they drive is nuts. It's absolutely crazy, and they don't give a fuck either. Like the other night, we live in a fourplex, so there's only four apartments in our building, and all
Oh,
the
wow.
main bedrooms are all in the
Yeah.
front
Okay.
of the apartments,
Okay.
and we're on sort of a main vein. We live in Queens.
Okay.
We're on sort of a main vein of a road. It's a one way, and there's parking on both sides. So there's very much only one lane to
Yeah.
go
One lane.
through. It's probably about 2 in the morning. Some poor
Oh,
man
man.
broke down, middle of
Oh,
the road.
no.
He definitely could have, but because he was at the intersection at the T,
Mm-hmm.
he definitely could have tried to get out
Moved.
or
Yeah.
had somebody
Like
behind
put
him
in
say, "Can you,
neutral and like do a
yep," and
little push or
push out of the
something.
way, right? Nope. He
Nope.
just gets out of his car, starts jacking it up and changing his tire right in the middle of the road. And
I'm impressed he knew how to do or could do that,
I know,
honestly.
I'm like,
Like,
what,
what?
bro? And then this man is in this annoying muscle car, blaring
Yeah. Oh my
some
God.
obnoxious music, and he's yelling, and they're all honking. And this guy's just like, I'm just changing my
I'm
tire.
just gonna do this.
I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
What are you gonna do?
So that went on for about an hour, and then people finally got the clue to back up and go around. But that's New York for you.
I mean, it's like kind of funny when you zoom
It
out a little
is. I
bit,
know.
but when
I'm like,
it's
what are you gonna
happening
do?
outside your window at 2 in the morning, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you guys,
I'm
can
just,
we just
yeah.
get it together?
I think it was a Friday or Saturday night, so I wasn't as bothered by it because I could sleep in a little bit. I didn't have to get up at the ass crack of dawn and go to work.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my, these people, it's nuts.
It's
Um,
quite a city. I do
it
love
is.
it. I do love it there. I'm
Yeah,
hoping I can go back soon.
it's
I
wild.
have a couple. My best friend now lives in New York City, so it's like, oh,
It's a good excuse
yeah,
to come visit
I know.
for sure. The PCT was your first through hike, and you went solo.
Yes.
What was
Yeah.
the biggest challenge doing it as a woman alone?
Um, God, I have to think on it a little bit. I mean, I think the biggest pr challenge was kind of just pe other people's reaction to it in a way.
Bef-
before I went. And like after coming, I mean, after I came back and I had done it, I was just, well, yeah, I did it.
I'm so fucking cool. I did this by myself.
I did
I'm
it and
sure
I
you,
didn't die. Look at
yeah.
that. Wow, it's a big, scary world. I'm
Haha,
alive. Woo.
Cheryl Strayed.
Yeah, I did it
Beat
all.
you.
Yeah, that's the number one question. Oh, like that girl in that book and that movie. Or now people just say like Reese Witherspoon. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Like when the movie came out. I don't remember when the movie came out, but whatever. Not
Yeah,
really
neither do I.
important. Yeah.
This is your moment to
Um,
shine, Emily, not
yeah,
Cheryl's or
not Cheryl
Reese's.
or Reese. Um, Gosh, I think, I mean, there were definitely times. So I will say, when I started, I had never done, I'm trying to make sure I'm not lying. I mean, I solo traveled before, I'd traveled internationally to study abroad for college by myself and stuff. So I was fine being alone. I was fine day hiking by myself, but I had never solo backpacked. I went on like one national park trip by myself to prep for the PCT. I was like, I'm gonna go car camping by myself in Death Valley, which seems kind of scary because Death Valley. And it's kind of far away from home. I'm gonna, camp in my tent that I bought for the PCT, do a little test run. Um, and yeah, my first backpacking trip ever. I mean, I was like, what is that? Like, I couldn't sleep at all. Could not sleep. Every single noise was
Was a bear.
terrifying. Yeah, every like
Or s-
crack, definitely a bear. Like, yeah, oh, like everything. But I didn't have that problem like when I had backpacked with my mom, like in the next summer and stuff. And so when I went on that solo like car camping trip to prep for the PCT, I was like, I couldn't sleep. Like I was like, oh God. And like I was like, oh, you're by yourself. Oh, this is gonna be the next couple months. Like, oh my God. So I think there is that just like a little bit of trepidation of just like something's out to get you.
hmm
Um, and then of course just the like I mean, I was like sobbing the first like mile of hiking the trail after I like walked away from the terminus and like had left my parents behind. They dropped me off. Okay, see ya whenever.
Not sure, but bye for
Not sure
now.
when. And I was pretty much a mess, I would say, for the first 40 miles through the mount town of Mount Laguna. It's the first zone. Really, I was fine, but I was like, what am I doing? Who do I hike with? There are people everywhere I've camped so far. That's great. Amazing. Great. We're safe with people. It's so funny because the first time I camped alone on the PCT, like actually alone,
hmm
was like mile 1700 up
Oh, wow.
in Northern California. So I was always with people. And even if we weren't together during the day hiking, there was always somebody kind of around
hmm
that was a hiker. And it never really, it was, so I was just kind of had to ease into it. So while I was alone and I didn't have friends and I was making friends, it's kind of like going to school. You got to make friends with all these people out there. And you're going to click with some, you're not going to click with others. You're just kind of like trying to find your groove. So many people drop out in the desert, or you're like totally on different hiking paces. So you're just kind of like meeting people as they come. Um, so yeah, I felt like I didn't like it's kind of bopping around a lot in the desert.
hmm
Um, but I never felt like alone. And I think the biggest hurdle is just getting over yourself and your fears and going out and doing it, right? Because I mean, 50 people a day, there's 50 permits given every day to start the PCT from, I think, March through May.
Okay.
So there's 50 other people that started hiking that same day as you. And there's 50 people before and 50 people after.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like there's
100.
plenty of people out there. Um, I mean, not to say that you shouldn't be nervous or to discount, because there was actually a very scary situation that happened on the PCT the year that I hiked it. And I actually met the people involved in that. And it's a public story.
I was going
I'm
to say, tell
completely
me more.
forgetting.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like kind of bad because I'm like completely forgetting her name. But there was a man who essentially kidnapped like two grown adults older than me and therefore, I mean, he essentially kidnapped a woman and they were hiking together. And I met them with my friend. We camped at the same spot and they seemed like they were hiking together.
Yeah. No,
But
no weird like
um,
red flag bells or anything went off. I suppose
no
you don't.
weird red flag
Right.
bells, except I just didn't really like talking to him.
Yeah.
I was,
Weird.
oh, he seems kind of like I am so awesome kind of person.
Okay.
I do this, I do that. I like a Mr. Hiker.
Ew.
Yes, yeah.
Typical
Very,
mansplainy bullshit,
yeah,
right?
mansplainy, like I am great kind of person. You're like, okay, I don't know why you're hanging out with him, but we're only 200 miles into this trail.
Yeah.
People learn more about people and um, they might not hang out together anymore or whatever. But, when you're on the trail, especially back in 2018, I feel like there was a lot of hiker, it's kind of like the grapevine, you do hear hiker gossip and stuff, and it passes up and down the trail. That's totally a thing. And
Yeah.
if you're in on the far out guide, you can like leave comments about like waypoints and stuff. So like sometimes gossip gets spread that way, or you just hear it through trail angels in town
Right.
or whatever. But I feel it wasn't like it's probably like more so a thing now because more people are connected on social media way
Yeah.
more. I felt like in 2018 when I hiked it, like yeah, people were on Instagram or doing stuff, but not a lot of people. I would say the
Yeah.
majority of people I met were not talking about their hikes in any sort of way or
Mm.
really communicating. We were exchanging phone numbers versus like Instagram handles kind of thing
Yeah.
to stay in contact. So, um, yeah, so I mean
That's so
there
creepy.
are scary things. Like when I got off, like I didn't know what was happening until, or like what had happened until I had finished the PCT and
Did you
there
see
was
that
actually like a missing person or like a kid, like
like a
then
whole
the
thing?
crime was actually like happening. And
Holy
he
shit.
has, I believe, been arrested because he tried it with somebody else and he has a crazy history of this happening. I'm really like,
Well, how did they
really
let
wish
him
I could
go in the
like
first place? Oh my
this was
God.
back in like the 80s or something, his crime spree started.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like it's the same. We hear this shit
I
over and
know,
over
over and over
again.
again. He's
Yeah,
some
I
fucking
know.
white guy
I
that they
know.
keep fucking letting go.
Yeah. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
James Perillo. That's his
That's
name.
his name. I'm gonna look this fucker up.
If we need to whatever for the
Yeah,
podcast,
we're gonna,
but I
yeah,
mean,
we
he has
are.
been,
I'm not famous yet, Emily, but I'm on my way. Watch out. We're like
this
episode
is making
9.
like
She talked
headline
about
news from
it.
7 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna tell everybody. We're spreading the news. Hopefully he's
We're
in
spreading the
jail.
news. Watch out. I mean, it's very known in Facebook groups that have to do with through hiking because I think he was like hanging around the CDT a couple years later. And yeah, I mean,
Did
and
you
he's gone by different names before and stuff. So it's terrifying to know that you were that close to somebody that was
Yeah,
doing bad
you
things.
camped with him. Oh my God. Did you see him after mile 200? You said around 200 miles. You didn't see him
Nope,
again. Thank
never
God.
again. And then the story makes sense because he just bopped
He
around with
just
her everywhere in
stayed with that
SoCal.
girl. Do you know at
And
what
they
point was she
never.
like taken? He took her off the trail, or you don't know? You don't remember details?
I don't remember. There was a fire in Southern California at some point during the summer, and they were seen in that community. I can't remember which town it was. I don't think it was Idlewild, but it could have been that area. And I was like, what the hell? Like I saw them back in like early May or late April. Like what? Midsummer. They never
Yeah,
kept progressing
because
forward. And I
that's
was like, okay, that's weird.
yeah, because they would have been really behind you at that point,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Oh yeah. Like I mean, yeah, by the midsummer I was in Northern California somewhere.
yeah. Shit,
Yeah, it's
that's
terrifying.
crazy.
So there's definitely scary things. I think you have to use your judgment
Right.
on first impressions. Honestly, usually true, especially if you're a woman. You meet a guy who rubs you the wrong way, or
Yeah.
anybody who rubs you the wrong way. It's just like, just keep going
Right. Well,
and don't
especially you want to.
talk to
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
really. Don't let them know anything about your hike.
Yeah.
If they
Be
ask you
really
where you're
careful about it.
camping, don't tell them where you're camping. Just go, I don't know. It's so common. It's the great thing about through hiking.
Depends
It's
on how
so
I
common
feel.
to not know
Yeah.
where you're going to hike.
Yeah.
It's so common to be like, I don't know if I'm going into that town or not. Maybe a little less common in certain areas to not know if you're going into a town or not, but you don't have to be
Yeah.
that like
Giving out all the
forthcoming about
information.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they won't leave you alone or something, then just stop and make them keep walking or you keep walking, or you get to a different town and you stay in town a couple days and you alter your schedule a little bit. The
Yeah.
thing is with through hiking is like you do have a lot of time. I mean, it seems like you have to make it there and you've got limited time, but you do have a lot of time to
Yeah. Switch it up if you need to.
switch things up if yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I mean, I solo hitchhiked, which don't necessarily recommend to people. That's another use your judgment. The
Mm-hmm.
family in the beat up RV with 3 children, I was pretty,
Yeah.
I don't think
Probably
I'm gonna
okay.
get murdered.
Yeah. Or another woman or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, on the call, like when I did the Colorado Trail, it's so funny. I was hitchhiking from, I don't remember what pass it was, but it was one of the passes on the Collegiate West going into the town of Salida. And this woman ended up picking me up, but she drove past me at first. But then when she saw me and she told me this later, she was like, I turned back around and came back and got you because you were a woman all by yourself, and I'm a woman all by myself. And I was like, oh, thanks.
Yay. Girls
I
stick
appreciate
together.
it. Appreciate it. I was like, thank you for picking me up. And I've picked up hitchhikers that I can tell are PCTers. I've done it in Yosemite a couple times when I've been driving through from the Eastern Sierra over like just being, yeah, there's 4 of you. I can tell that you're all stinky PCTers. We're gonna roll the windows down and I'll drive you into Yosemite Valley, no problem.
I got you.
I got
Nice.
you.
Yeah, and
Trying to
then
return the favor. But yeah,
yeah,
instincts. Instincts
right.
are follow them.
Yeah. And in the community, I feel you when you're out in the wild or whatever you're doing, wherever you are, I like to think that at least for me, I'm usually with other people. I haven't really done a lot of solo anything.
Yeah.
Um, but you like to think that you can bring your barriers down because
Hmm.
it's trail community, right?
Yeah. I
And you
find
feel like
that,
you can
yeah.
trust people, even
Yeah.
if they're even a lot of dudes. Like I've picked up a
Hmm.
dude,
Yeah.
and me and a friend had picked up a dude who was hitchhiking. Fine, we
Yeah.
ended up hanging out with
Yeah.
him and whatever for like a few days.
Oh,
I've
fun.
also
Jeez.
I've also hitchhiked with the same friend in Glacier National Park
Yeah.
with this guy Gary with the pimpin' van. He was a raft guide. He owned a raft company,
That's so fun.
and
Yeah.
we were trying to hitch because we did a loop in
Yeah.
the park, but
Oh my
the
God.
the
I want to
loop
hear
didn't
about that.
the loop didn't start and end at the same spot. There was where we exited, we had to go out to like a main road and then walk up the
Okay.
road to get back to the trailhead.
Yeah. Oh
And
gosh. Okay. Yeah.
my knee was like shot. It was my knee or my ankle. I can't remember what it was. But so we were just hobbling along. I
Yeah.
was out in the bushes like taking a piss. And like 15 minutes
Looking
before
rough.
this, yeah, looking rough, just hobbling. I'm like, yo, what if this? What if that? And my friend Maggie's like, yo, shut up. We're like having this ridiculous conversation. I'm like, what if like a person like because this was in the very northwest corner of the park in like
Oh,
September.
like, is that like Kentwell Lake or something?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. This was like
Okay.
10 years ago or
10 years
something.
ago.
And
I have
the
so many
park,
loops drawn of things I want to do.
that sounds right. And it's not a very big loop. It was like 2 nights, I think. One
Okay.
or 2 nights. It wasn't even, we just kind of crushed out the miles. And we didn't
Yeah.
have that much time because it was September and the
Gosh.
park was closing
Yeah.
the next week or within a few days.
Yeah.
And so we're hobbling along. I'm hobbling along. I'm like pulling over for a pee. And just before that, I was laughing about, hey, maybe somebody will come along and give us a ride. And
Well, good fortune.
before we had left on our loop, we had a low tire.
Oh.
It wasn't flat, but it was low. So we knew when we got back to
That warning.
that car, it was going to be flat, and
Oh
we didn't even know what
no.
time we were going to get back to the car. Well, here comes a van coming down the road. I'm like, gonna pull my pants up. He was like, "Do you ladies need a ride?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we need a ride." He has this beautiful van. He's got all tricked out. This was
Oh my
like
gosh.
right around the time van life. I mean, I don't think he lived in there, but he had it like tricked out nice.
Yeah.
So we get in, and then I was joking around earlier too about what if somebody pulled over who also happened to have an air compressor in their car. Well, Gary
Mm.
owns a rafting company. Do you think he has an air compressor in his car?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes, he
Yes.
does.
For any like PSI limits or anything. Yeah.
So he gets us to our car. Thank you, Gary. You're a godsend. If you're still out in
Gary,
Montana, we love
amazing.
you. Um, he fills our tire's low. It's like flat.
Oh
He
God.
fills it up for us.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, and I have a can of emergency flat that you ladies should take."
Oh,
So we take the
oh my
emergency flat from
God.
him too. Yep. We get out of the park.
Same
We're
here.
able, yep, we're able to get out of the park and enough on the tire to get us to a tire shop, a mechanic.
Yeah.
They patch it for us. It only needed a patch. The whole tire wasn't
Thank God.
blown, so it was okay. Yep. And they're like, "You don't need to pay us. It's just a patch.
Oh
You
my
guys can."
God.
I know. I'm like, what? I'm like,
What?
what is
What kind
happening?
of like
Trail angels, all of them.
trail angels? Yeah, seriously.
Truly,
It's like it
wild
changes
story.
everything. Like,
It does. It really
yeah,
does.
feeling wise. You're just like, because it could have just been like a disaster. And then you have to get home after that disaster. And you're just like, oh my God, everything's so difficult.
I
Makes
know.
things better. Trail angels are amazing.
Yeah, and we were only sort of we were doing like a big loop. We were going to see my brother who lives in Spokane. We were going to see
Okay,
him, and
nice.
then we were going through Seattle and down to Portland, and we were doing
Oh,
like a big
fun.
loop. So we were only like
You wanted
halfway
the car.
through. Yeah, we were only like
We
halfway through.
needed
We're
the
like,
car.
we can't turn around yet,
No,
you know. So yeah,
definitely not.
we had
Yay.
several. I know several
I
trail
love that.
angels. Love that community. My dog wants to make an
Hi,
appearance.
puppy. I'm not
Hello.
getting enough attention. That's
No,
the,
I know. She hears
yeah.
something outside, I think. Just the husky in her. I want to be known. Hello, everyone.
I have an announcement. I have
Yeah.
many announcements.
I have so much to say. Everyone, listen to
So much to say.
me.
I love that.
Um, how did the PCT change you the most? Like pre Emily before the trail, post Emily after. I know it was a number of years ago
Yeah,
now, but I'm
I
sure you've done
know.
so much reflecting about
Yeah.
that's a huge thing. I mean,
Yeah, it
that is
is. I
a
think
massive
like
accomplishment.
I think being okay with like not having a plan, like I think I think that's probably the biggest thing the PCT taught me, like just or changed about me because Emily before the PCT was very, very goal oriented. Obviously, we talked about that a little bit. Obviously, finishing the PCT in itself, like goal oriented kind of thing. Um, like to have a plan, like to stick to the plan. But the PCT definitely made me very much more laid back, I think. I think like I just stopped worrying so much about like stuff in the future, which like not necessarily like a positive all the time. Sometimes a little bit too laid back, maybe, or like I have much more of a like everything will be just fine kind of mentality, which I think has its pros and cons. Um, like when I didn't plan at all for my trip to Europe this last summer, basically. I think I started planning for that trip on the plane to there.
Well, at least you knew you were where
So
you were going.
yeah, for the most part.
That was planned.
Yeah. Flights had been scheduled. Yeah. Flights had been
Check.
booked. So like the core, it
The rest
changed,
of the
but like the
itinerary,
core,
not
yeah,
one.
the core was there. But yeah, it's like the same thing. Like it's funny because like when I did the Colorado Trail in 2021 and like the differences in like planning for like the PCT. I mean, granted, Colorado Trail is like only 500 miles
Hmm.
only. But I was just like, what are the trail towns? Okay, cool. Like
I got this.
I got this. Like it's no big deal. Like just like get there and you're gonna wear the same clothes basically. Like, like you're not gonna change, like nothing needs to change. Like you've done it
Yeah.
all like in this setup. You don't like you know what to expect. Like you don't need to change anything. Like you know everything about your gear. You don't need to like freak out or do anything crazy. You know it's gonna happen. Like and you know that you can't control the weather and
Yeah.
like you know you're just gonna hike all day. So just have like the guide and, and use it and know where your next town stop is. And when you're in that town stop, know how many more miles it is to the next town, buy the right amount of food, and you're good to go.
The simple life.
More simple. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
nice.
I think just like being able to like not be so like type A. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely still type A in certain ways. And like I like helping others plan for things, but and I have a blog where I help people like plan their trips essentially or like give them the roadmap to doing it. But like, do I plan all of my trips? Absolutely not. Let things go with the
Do
flow.
yeah, do you find so are you like that all the time now, or there are some things that you do plan, or like you find that it beautifully unravels in front of you when you don't plan things, and that's what you prefer now?
I would say that the my trip to Europe, it was a little too unplanned for
Because
my
sometimes there's like a right, striking that
yeah,
right balance. Because I'm kind of the same way. I'm sort of like, let's just book the ticket and we'll figure it out. And then
yeah,
my partner's like, nope, like
nope.
8 a.m., 9 a.m.,
Yeah.
10:45. Like
The hour by hour itinerary. Yeah.
everything's got to be
We're
planned.
eating here, here, and here,
Yep. And I'm
doing
like,
X, Y,
cool
and
shit
Z.
happens when you just like walk into stuff or just talk to
Yeah.
people and they give you like a suggestion.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, yeah, I think there's a balance because there are some things like when I go somewhere that I've been before, like let's just say like I'm going to Yosemite or something, whatever. I'm not planning that. Like I have like a little catalog in the back of my mind of things I haven't done that I want to do, places I want to go. I don't need to plan it. Just like wake up and see what happens that day, kind of. Unless there was like a bigger hike that I wanted to do, then it's like, okay, like let's just make sure we get this done and like let's choose the best day for it based on weather or something. But yeah, like Europe was way too unplanned. I like um I had a car rental. Like I was in Iceland for basically 2 weeks. And I, yeah, started doing my day by day itinerary basically like on the airplane. Yeah, from San Francisco. I had a layover in New York, so it was like SFO to New York. That leg, I was like, like I bought Wi-Fi. I was like, okay, we're gonna like plan now. And then same with like my layover. I was like, okay, we gotta like still plan, like figure things out. Like, what are you doing like tomorrow? You're going to be there in just a couple hours and it will be tomorrow. Like you need to figure out what you're doing tomorrow at least. And
Mm.
then of course when I got there the next day it was terrible weather and it I was like, oh, I don't want to go and do that tomorrow. And then I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? Like I was like, oh, I guess I gotta like quickly find somewhere to like camp in Reykjavik. I'm like sitting in the car, like just like using cell service, like trying to figure out like what I'm gonna do now, because like my whole plan that I had planned out was essentially derailed upon landing, and the weather was terrible, and the rental car people were like, "Oh yeah, there's really high winds, like
You
on the
can't really do
south
anything.
coast, like you
Yeah.
might not like want to go that way." And I was like, "Oh my God, great."
Ugh.
But it's like it's hard too when you're by yourself. There's a lot of decision fatigue that comes in, and I think that's the main thing I found solo traveling because I felt it on my last trip in Arizona too. So it's like if you don't plan
Hmm.
sometimes, like and you're by yourself, the for me at least the decision fatigue has like definitely been apparent and noticeable, and I think it's just gotten worse as I've gotten older. And if I like maybe had a buddy with me, you can like bounce ideas off a little bit more, or there's a
Right.
seemingly like equal distribution of ideas happening, where when it's just you, you are making all the decisions and you only have yourself to blame if
Yeah.
you don't do something because of your poor planning or your lack of being able to make a decision.
Yeah.
It's harder when you're on the PCT and you're on a through hike, you literally just walk in one direction. Like
Yeah.
there's
You're like,
quite
that is the
literally
plan.
that's the plan. There's no
The plan
decisions
is the
really to
same
make.
every day. Yep.
But when you're just like, oh, I can like go and travel and like all this stuff, and there's like the world is your oyster, it's like, oh God, so many decisions to make. What's going to
Yeah.
be the best one?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I feel that.
balance
Yep.
is needed.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I feel like sometimes, yeah, those are, I feel like everyone can feel good about, well, everyone, you yourself and you can feel good about leaving some leeway. Um, but I don't,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing too, right? Like the decision fatigue can set in if you're making too many decisions, but then it sounds like you had a plan, but then it doesn't work out. And now you got to do more decisions on top of your decision that didn't, didn't
There was
turn
a
out.
plan. There was a
Yeah.
semi-plan. Yeah.
Mm.
Won't even get like, well, we can get into it, but yeah, the decisions after Iceland were just even more
All over the place.
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like I love that you've been all over the place. It's like that's like me. I'm all over the place. Not
All
in the
over the
same
place.
way, but just yeah, I've like lived abroad and I live in New York and I did wilderness therapy for a while and then I worked for Outward Bound and then I worked in schools and I've jumped around schools and yeah, things
Yeah,
are
there's a lot of
things are
jumping
all
around.
yeah, things are all over the place all the time, but somehow I've piecemealed it together to make it work and I've done a
That's
lot of
good to
really
know.
cool, yeah, really cool
It's
things
reassuring because,
because of
when
it
you're
and
someone who's bopping around, yeah.
yeah, and so have you. But like there's been criticism from my family. Like I
Yeah.
had so much criticism. I won't say which family member in particular, but like why are you moving to Japan? That's stupid. You need to stay in your job and get like
Yeah.
years under your belt and and I'm like "Pfft, that is the best decision that one
That
of the
you
best
ever made.
decisions yeah, of my life that I
So
ever made
cool.
and I lived there for 3 years and
Oh, that's awesome. I want to go to Japan so
oh
badly.
my God, I
I really
think about
wanted to
it
do it this
often.
spring, but I didn't have any money after Europe.
Make it happen. It'll be one of the best things that you do.
One day.
Like
Yeah,
especially as a
I'll get
solo
there.
traveler, nobody's gonna mess with you.
Yeah,
Nothing's gonna happen. It's one of the safest places in the world. You could take
that's
the
awesome.
best public transportation. Um, Such good food. People are nice. They, like I
Yeah,
said, they leave you alone.
yeah,
Some people will be friendly, just I guess like anywhere. But yeah, it's
yeah.
incredible. You'll never have a meal. You could literally walk in anywhere and have the best meal of your life.
The
Best food.
food so badly. So bad.
I really miss the food.
We have
Yeah.
good Japanese food in the Bay Area, but like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
would like
I
to try
can,
the real thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I can find it.
you're in
Yeah,
New
I can
York
find it
City.
in
You
New
can
York
find
too. But
anywhere.
yeah, I can
Yeah,
find anything that's really, really good. But it's
yeah.
still, I'm still like,
It's still different. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's not the
Plus, it's
same.
probably cheaper in Japan.
Yeah, yeah, like a bowl of ramen here can get upwards of, I mean,
Yeah, it's I've
they're
seen
giving you the
crazy
base.
stuff in
Yeah,
the
they're giving
Bay.
you the
Yeah,
base bowl
like
with
30 bucks.
like the
Yeah.
noodles and like 2 pieces of pork, and then they're like, then you have to add on bamboo shoots, and you have to add on garlic, and you
Oh
have
my
to add on an
God.
egg, and you have to add on more
You're like,
chasu,
no, this
and
is just supposed to come like
I know I'm
this.
like, this is $12 with all of this loaded in Japan, and in New York City it's like 40.
Oh God.
I know I'm like, you guys are crazy. Get out of here with your stupid $10 egg addition. Should be illegal. Um, Speaking of all over the place, you worked at REI
I did.
for a
Yeah.
while. What made
Yeah.
you
Over 6 years.
yeah, what made you decide to
Yeah.
leave that and hit the road again? Speaking of all over.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And how was working for
I,
REI? They're kind of like not in some hot water, but sort of like I know some people are
yeah,
like
people are
you
very
guys fucking
upset
suck and
with
you're full of
REI right
yeah,
now.
and you're full of shit. So, what was it like
Yeah.
working for them too?
I, so I worked in a retail store. So not like HQ and
Corporate.
stuff. I
Yeah.
actually worked with, I worked in my last 2 years. Actually, more like my last 3 years. I probably like so I guess half the time I did work with people like part that were part of corporate like a little bit more closely than like probably most other retail employees. Um, but yeah, I started working for them before the PCT, just to kind of like earn some money because I was literally banking on just like that part-time job and like my tax refund to hike the PCT
Yeah,
in terms of
nice.
money, like budget for it.
Such a dirtbag.
Uh, Yeah, like definitely like got like a tiny bit of help from the parents in terms of like sending supply packages and stuff, but like and like I think my tent was given to me as a Christmas present kind of thing, you know? Like
Nice.
here you go, but like everything else like you got to do it yourself. So anyways, yeah, part-time job and that tax refund was like pulling me through.
Clutch.
But I left to go hike the PCT. You can't just like take time. You can't take that much time off of REI. You can take time off when you work there, which I did many other times every other year. But I quit. And then in probably September, I think it was when I got to Washington on the PCT, I was like, oh, like you didn't figure out what you wanted to do with your life, which like props to anybody who like actually does like figure out what they want to do with their life when they're doing a through hike. That was certain. Certainly went in with that hope that I would finally figure out what I wanted to
Yeah.
do with my life
Be
when I did it.
revealed,
But
revealed in a vision.
yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, you do have like a ton of time to like think to
Hmm.
be by yourself. Like, you have so much time. But I ended up listening to podcasts and audiobooks a lot to like quell my like brain thoughts when it got too much.
I can imagine. Even just
Yeah.
walking my dogs, I'm like da 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 da.
Yep.
So
And then like
2000,
existential crisis.
2,600 miles, and you're like, oh, okay, that's enough of my inner
Yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So yeah, I didn't figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So like no big thing. So I was like, let's just go back. Let's just like send a quick email to my manager and ask for my job back. Um, and like not have to like reapply and stuff. And I didn't have to. I was just rehired and that was great. Um, into my same role. And then pretty quickly after that, I just was like working while I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I just like need money. Like I just spent like all my money on the PCT. Like I'm just need to work. I just need money. I kind of thought I wanted to triple crown after that. So I was like, I need money because like I'm gonna hike again. Like I'm not gonna hike in 2019. Like definitely won't have enough money by that point. Um, I knew I wasn't gonna hike in 2020 because my cousin was supposed to get married and my sister was graduating college. So I was like, ooh, two big like summer life events. That's like kind of inconvenient. Maybe I'll do something shorter. We all know what happened in 2020.
Yep.
Um, but I just needed money. So I was just like, let me go back to REI, let me get money, and I can go hiking again. So, I mean, again, talk about getting completely derailed. Became full-time at REI at the beginning of 2019, which was great for making money. And then when like, kind of like got promoted, and then when COVID was happening, we were getting raises to like retention, essentially like raises. So I was just like, oh, I just like keep making money. Great. Like more money. I was like, it's COVID. What am I doing? Like I'm not gonna like leave what I have going, like,
Yeah.
right? Like I am making like this is solid. I keep making money. I keep making a little bit more money. It's not a lot of money. Like you're definitely seeing like your friends from school and your friends from college like pass you, in terms of
Yeah.
like growth at their jobs and stuff like that. So, um, REI, like I had a great time there. I loved all of my coworkers. I loved my managers. I even I loved what I was doing like at the last kind of like year I worked there. I was actually working on they called it the employee engagement like coordinator or whatever like in your store. There was a fancier term I like already forgot like what was my what was my little
Just make up,
secondary
yeah.
like job
Just
title.
make up something really fucking cool, you know? Just like tell people that's your title. Hell yeah.
I was like our operations lead, so I was finally back office because I just couldn't deal with customers anymore. I was just kind of I was over it.
Hmm.
I loved what we did. Like personal outfitting, that was so fun back pre-COVID days. Teaching classes, that was so fun pre-COVID days, and then COVID came and like ruined everything. Um, we finally brought back like classes. I was like the person, I was like, we have to bring back in-store classes, you guys. Like this is like one of the things that makes REI REI. Like
Hmm.
we have to. And I was like, I literally came up with a schedule with like these are the people I think in our store that can teach these classes. I sent it to my store manager because I was just kind of like bored at my desk one day, after I had checked time cards and stuff like that. And I was like, I think we should do this. And he was like, great, put it on the calendar. I was like, yes, we're getting my
Yes. Slowly
way.
taking
But
over from the inside.
yeah, so I mean, they're great. I just think I love REI. I did a lot of work too with like getting my store involved in and like teaching them all about all of the co-op action network. Like little sign things. Like I was just like every single time there's a little like sign here, right to your Congress people, like I had like cut those all out, made like little cute graphics in Canva with them and like put them on the cork board at the front of the store so that like customers could see it and like my coworkers was always posting on Teams about it, like all these things. So I really liked like doing that stuff, and that's not like a core job task by any means. That was like
Yeah.
basically like a little side
Off
job that I
script.
was, yeah, it was like a real job because like they asked for store managers to like choose somebody from their store to like be this job. So we
Mm,
had like a weekly meeting with like the HQ people about just like REI's impact work and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, that was like one of my favorite parts was like the impact work and like amplifying that and telling my coworkers about it so they could be excited about it and be able to like share that and feel like they were doing more than selling gear.
yeah. Yeah. Something
But I know
meaningful.
there's a lot. I mean, it's retail,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, when you're
Yeah.
working in the retail store, it's retail.
Yeah.
So
Ugh. I don't miss
it's
that.
like, no,
Yeah.
I don't,
I
yeah, I
did a
don't
bit of
miss all
that
those little
through
things.
college. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I
Yeah.
mean, there's pros and cons. And in terms of just like general, I mean, like I've complained to many people
Yeah.
about REI in general,
Yeah.
especially my parents hear a lot of it. Um, I think that like anybody in that sphere that's that big of a name is always going to have like come under fire for something. They're never going to
Yeah.
be able to do anything right.
It's true.
And I I think that I think that I want them to do everything, but that's unrealistic. I think everybody wants them to do everything,
Of
and
course.
that's kind of like unrealistic, I guess, from like a making money kind of standpoint.
Right.
But I think that they also like I don't know, need to come into the 21st century and like innovate a little bit more on certain things because
Absolutely.
the rest of the world is they're going to get left behind in the dust. And if you're not
Yeah.
innovating or trying new things, like, and you're
Yeah.
just trying like old things over and over again and like hoping it sticks, like, I don't think that that's like
Right.
going to work in terms of business. But like,
Yeah.
what do I know? I'm not leading like
Right.
$1 million+ company. So it's
Yeah.
not my neck on the line, but
I'm sure there's already like podcasts and people covering stuff like this because I know there's some podcasts that do just strictly like outdoor industry stuff
mm,
um that criticize and talk about it. So we'll leave it to them, you know.
they
It's
can
just
do it. I'm just like,
it's just a shame that there's such like a giant, and you know that's they're corporate. Like they have
yeah,
partnerships that are evil and that fund
yeah.
them. And yes, they do a lot of good, but there is it. These things are complex, right?
Yeah,
Like that's that's America.
yeah.
That's you know how
We
things are.
want to
There's never
do,
nobody's pure except for Yvonne Chouinard at Patagonia. Let's be
yeah,
real. I mean, they truly though, like they are.
yeah.
I'm
No,
sure there's been
seriously.
things that they have been in that maybe could be dicey or maybe not, maybe not.
Yeah, I
But that's
can't
just
remember.
remarkable. Yeah, remarkable. And I don't know either, right? But like they're
Yeah,
outsourcing a lot of things too that they could probably be making here that would cost more if they made it here. So we
yeah,
could say that about them, but I don't know. Um,
yeah.
but
It's
yeah,
the
pretty
outdoor
remarkable that.
industry is, I mean, yeah, I the whole like the letter and everything to endorsing Bergam, like
Yeah.
it's funny because I like worked with those people like at HQ that would have been responsible for making that decision to sign that letter.
Mm,
And so I'm like, well, like I already posted this on like my Threads account, so like people can go and like read what I wrote. But like it definitely does look bad. I feel like they should have like rescinded like
yeah.
their like approval once like it happened. I can see how the entire Outdoor Industry Association that signed on was like, he's our best shot because he introduced this one bill in North Dakota. Is that where he's from? North Dakota, South Dakota?
I don't
One of
even
the
know.
Dakotas, like sorry Dakotas, but like
Yeah.
I don't know which one he came from. So we did like one good outdoors thing, and so you're
Yeah.
just gonna like throw like, oh my God, he did one good thing for the outdoors, like over like
Yeah.
any like an entirety of his like lifetime, and so you're gonna like throw support
Yeah.
behind him and like
Ridiculous.
for that one, basically like probably that one thing that's like, oh, he's probably the best option that the Trump administration could ever
Yeah.
like recommend, which like probably is true. I mean, he might be the best option that Trump would ever like, put up there, but like
Right.
that doesn't mean they're great.
It's like an episode of Succession right now. It's like, what are they doing? Everyone's criticizing them. Maybe they are trying to
Yeah.
be strategic in what they're doing. I don't know. I'm sure,
Yeah.
like most folks in the outdoors, it's like, it's time to get fucking radical, REI. Cut your fucking bullshit ties. Like, get the people
Yeah.
behind you. You are a co-op
Yeah.
and you are publicly funded by your members. Like, let's
Yeah.
go. If there's any time for you to do something crazy and radical, now is the
Yeah.
time. However,
Yeah.
you're like you were saying, we don't know what leadership. I don't know. We could
Yeah.
go on
I
and
mean,
on
and they're
about this.
changing leadership right now too. So
Yeah.
we could
Yeah,
go on and on. I mean, I will say that I think it's like I think like REI is taking a hit for the entire outdoor industry because the other people who signed that letter, like People for Bikes, like
yeah.
they work on like bike trail
I've
and
heard of
like bike
them.
path
Hmm.
advocacy and stuff. Like they signed that letter.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of groups that signed that letter too. And
Yeah.
I
But
don't
REI is taking the
not
hit.
REI's taking the hit just because they're the big name and they signed it like, with their name. But I think like I mean, look at what's happening right now. Like, I just think our whole country,
Hmm.
like, look at what's happening right now,
I know.
period. I mean, we're recording this and the what happened today? The text messages on the
Yeah.
Signal app were released today. So like, I
Yeah.
think I God, I hope we have public lands to defend
I know.
like after this.
I know. And we're just getting started just a few months in. It's really fucking
We're
scary.
just a few months in. I know.
Yep.
Every day something new, and you're just kind of like, oh my God,
I
like,
just
is
think
it
about the
over
stuff
yet?
that's
Is it
not even
over
being,
yet?
yeah, publicized on the news
Oh,
too.
I know. We don't even know probably like half of it.
Probably
No,
not. Anyway.
no, it's terrifying. And you just think of like I mean, to bring it back to the outdoors, like so much has been impacted in such a short amount of time. Like
Yeah.
the PCT, sent email. The PCTA is like, we have to cancel 52 weeks of trail projects, like because of the lack of funding,
Funding.
and we just
Yeah.
don't know like what's happening basically because
Yeah.
of all this madness.
And
And I mean, then
what a time that
that's
we
just
need
like a small thing.
yeah, and what a time that we need the outdoors more than ever too, just because of this fuckwad in office and where mental
Yeah.
health is right now. And I'm on the front lines of that. You know,
Yeah,
I
with
have a
kids.
mental health background and I work with kids. I have for 14
Yeah,
years and it's like every year it's getting worse and
worse.
worse. It
Yeah,
is. It's like
it is.
it's not even like, oh, it's worse than it's like compounding worse.
Yeah. I think we've just had like so much
Yeah.
shit, like
Yeah.
especially
COVID,
since COVID. Well, especially
this,
since like, yeah, yeah, right here.
like,
But yeah, like ever especially since the like his first administration was kind of like, LOL, what did he tweet today? And now you're just kind of like,
yeah, now
then
it's
we had to
not
go through
funny.
COVID, and now it's like definitely not funny. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it wasn't funny to begin with
Right.
because,
Right.
but it's you actually finally realized like how bad like these things are and how like a lot of things were like words, more like just kind
Right.
of words,
Empty
empty
promises.
threats and promises. And you almost felt like there were people trying to like rein his crazy in
Yep.
eight
Nope.
years ago, and now it's like, oh no, everybody's on board with the crazy. I mean, at least like of the people that could rein him in, he almost doesn't seem like, I don't know. It's like, yeah,
Yep. So
we need we need
we
to
all we need our
we need
land
someone to
public
rein
lands.
everybody
Yep.
in. We a
Yep.
lot more people need reining in now.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes, we
But
do.
it's just
Yeah.
There's
no
only so
wor
much you
I
can
don't even know what to
do.
say anymore, you know? It's like,
I know. I have a hard time with it because it's so much to take in every day. And we don't have to keep talking about it because it is just makes you sad and you just kind of like start spiraling. But at least like with me and at least the platform I have, it's like I'm online a lot. So seeing it and talking about it is hard, but I think always trying to move in a positive direction. Like I am working with the Outdoor Alliance this year, just kind of partnering with them with like just
yeah,
doing some social media like amplification and stuff. And it's like focusing on the things that we actually can do besides voting. I mean, like, hello, like, it's kind of like the biggest thing we can do, like, in terms of the next 2 years is to,
yep,
vote for people that are going to actively oppose every single thing that he does.
right.
Um, but in the meantime, like using your voice and writing to your elected officials, calling them,
Yep, check, check.
telling
Done all those
them,
things.
yeah, I know, same, like multiple times, like on any like thing that like I can, right? So it's
Yeah,
like focus on like at least things that like you can like sort of have control over, and it might not feel like you have control over it because sometimes you fill out those forms and
right.
you're like,
It's
does
out
it
into
even
the ether.
matter?
Right. It
Like
does. It does.
I'm good, like I've gotten like the canned responses from my senators because I
Same.
live in the very, very, very progressive San Francisco
Yeah.
Bay Area.
I have
My
fucking Chuck
senators are
Schumer.
very, yeah, oh God. Yeah, my senators are very like California Democrats. Like,
Yeah.
they're very like tidy though, in the way that they say things and very politician-y, like super just like whatever. But you're like, like a staffer wrote that email, that like
Yeah.
they didn't write it. So you're always
Right.
just kind of like, does it matter?
Yeah.
But you kind of have to like push through that and look at
Right. Yeah. We
you
need
have
to
to celebrate some wins where
mobilize.
you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people, you're right. People, yeah, they think that they're writing in or signing a petition or whatever on their name and they're sending it in and it's going into the ether. But it's a start. It's
Yeah.
something. It's better than sitting around and being like, "Oh, I can't do anything," because that's not
Yeah.
true at all. There,
Yeah. And I'm not a mobilizer. I mean, I was one of those people that are like, I don't like politics. I hate talking about that, like growing up. And then you kind of realize when you finally grow up, you're like, oh, everything like in our lives revolves around this.
yeah,
Um, so like doing what you can and what you feel comfortable with, and like, if you don't like phone calls, you hate talking on the phone like me, okay, then just send like every freaking email that you can.
yeah,
Like,
right,
if you don't like crowds and going out in public and protesting, okay, well, you better just at least send that email. Come on, you can do it.
yeah.
You can like
Just
call
a little bit of something. Yeah,
a
I,
little bit of
I, I
something.
need to get more involved in some stuff and get some things going. And maybe my part is getting some people on the podcast too. I'm getting. Do you know Quadzilla? He's a through hiker.
Oh, yeah.
Jack
Yeah.
Jones. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
he's gonna be on in May.
That's awesome. Cool. Okay,
He's
yeah.
doing some really. He's like pissed right now,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
rightfully
I mean, he
so.
has
Have you seen his
everybody
social
should be.
media? Yeah, have you
I
seen his
have,
social
yeah.
media lately? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's on
I
an
know, I watched it.
absolute
I'm just like,
tear. Right?
yeah. I always feel like I'm not like eloquent enough to talk about it. I'm just like, here, like, just do this. Like, do this thing. Like, I can't, if I go and start talking, I'm a rambler. If we haven't figured that out already by now. Sorry, everybody listening, but I think you muted yourself again.
Get on your soapbox, girl. That's what I said.
No, I just like sometimes I just where's the point? You know what I mean? Like, okay, get to the point, Emily. Like, let's find that pathway again. So sometimes I'll just keep talking and then I don't
Yeah,
even know where we end up. So,
I do that
but
too all
yeah,
the time.
he's awesome. And I know, like, I mean, he's a wildland firefighter. He's
Yeah,
out in
yeah,
our public lands. I have a friend from REI. He's a forest, I mean, he works for the Forest Service. He's out there. Luckily has a job. But yeah, I mean, they're out on the ground and they see that every day. So, I
yeah,
mean, and it's, yeah. I mean, when you are directly being attacked, um, it's very scary. And these are like
mm-hmm.
really happening.
Yeah. It is. I don't. People need to wake up. But back to hiking
Back to
and
hiking, traveling all around and
fair, fair.
whatever I'm
Us
doing.
Therapizing people, right?
Therapizing.
My
Yeah.
little the riff on my name. See, maybe this is coming into existence at the very right time. People are going to tune in and be like, I need to hear a pure conversation with some good ass people talking about the outdoors, and just zone out for an hour or an hour and a
Yeah.
half. It's
And
exactly
just,
one of the big reasons I wanted to start this. I also wanted to connect with cool
it's
people.
nice.
Like I've been out of, I mean, I was very much in tuned with like the outdoor world for a while when I was working in it,
Yeah.
and then in and out on my personal trips. But now I've been sucked into more of like the education world.
Yeah.
And that identity is so strong when you work in education that sometimes I don't know, you just get caught up in it.
Yeah.
Um, and
Definitely.
that's like not my whole identity, but it becomes a really big part of your identity. And
Yeah.
in recent years, I mean, I've got an ADHD brain for sure, and I'm always like, I want to be doing something other than my work that's really important to me. And
Yeah.
and so recently, I'm like I've done college admissions like tutoring on the side for a while,
Oh, cool.
and I've
Yeah.
tried to start some other things, but I'm like, no, I really need to like do something with the outdoors again. I miss
Yeah.
it.
Get back there.
Get back to it.
Yeah.
And when I'm out in the woods, no matter what I'm doing, I feel
Yeah.
so good. And that's
Yeah.
so important for me and humans, and
Yeah.
for my trying to preach that to my students. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I don't know what that is. For the longest time, I didn't know what it was, other than me going into the woods by myself or whatever. But I'm like, I want to build more of a community around it.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of like in searching. I love to listen to podcasts, and searching up podcasts. I'm like, there's not a lot of just riffing, just talking about
Letting
stuff.
things,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Letting
there's
the conversation go.
like backpacker radio. I mean, they're very niche. They're good. They're fun,
Yeah.
but so niche. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to just listen to hiking, and they talk about some other things, but it is very niche. And
Yeah.
there's
I
like
haven't
some other
listened in a
ones.
while just because
Yeah.
I have so many podcasts to listen to.
Yeah.
But
There is so many.
that was one of my go-tos while through hiking. It's
Yeah.
kind of fun to listen
Right.
about through hiking. It's very
While you're through
meta.
hiking. Yeah. It is. You're like in the Matrix. You're like, oh my God. Yeah.
I'm in it.
Yeah. It's hilarious. And there's not a lot of like female led ones either. There was She Explores was great. And
Yeah, I
it was
know.
more polished, not
Yeah,
sort of like a riffy conversation. But yeah, they went out last
definitely had a
year.
lesson to every episode, like the
Mm-hmm.
story. I think these people
Mm-hmm.
are so cool. I was like, oh my God, everybody's doing like cool things. I'm not cool enough for
Badass
that.
things. I know. So I'm like, I need to start something that's sort of like not just so niche, but like is more of like counterculture. You're doing things on your own like time and your own dime and your own way, regardless
Yeah,
of what society is saying. And of course, it's going to be leaning outdoor heavy because that's what I want it
yeah,
to be. But I want to
yeah.
get makers and artists and all sorts of people. So if you know anybody,
Awesome.
send them
Yeah,
my way.
I
Um,
will.
so I've got a few more questions. You got
Yeah,
time?
go for it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let's actually like, I feel like you've only asked a couple of questions.
Yeah. Let's get
We've
back
talked
on
so much.
topic.
Let's go talk about.
No, this is great. I
I'll
love it.
take all the questions.
Perfect. So you've done a mix of solo and partnered through hikes. Yeah?
Hmm. Yeah.
What do you love about hiking alone, and when is it
Hmm.
actually better to have company? You've touched on it a little bit, but I'd like to hear more.
Mm. It's funny because I think I prefer traveling with somebody, but hiking alone. Well, I mean it kind of depends. It's like so hard sometimes. Here I go. Long-winded answer
Go
perhaps.
for it. Go for it.
But yeah, I've done like my mom is my main backpacking buddy. So
Aw,
thanks, mom.
mom.
She's injured right now, so we haven't backpacked in a while together.
What what's her name?
But Diane,
Diane. Get better, Diane.
get better. It's
Emily
like
needs
fingers
her
crossed. It's
her
a
buddy back.
knee issue, so kind of like
It's the worst.
necessary for backpacking.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I think that's a little different because like obviously our relationship is mother-daughter and not like I don't know, some like friend or it's not like a romantic partner. Like there's definitely like there's different levels of partner, right? And like
Hmm.
comfort in certain ways, I feel like. But like I did the Wonderland Trail with the friend that I was jealous of him going on the PCT. Like, why can't I do that? That friend sadly did not finish the PCT, by the way. He hurt his knee in Northern
No.
California. I know,
Oh,
very sad. So, but
shoot.
the next year, so we did the Wonderland Trail together. And yeah, he needs to still finish the PCT, so hasn't done it yet. But maybe one day. But like that was fun because he was through hiking. So like we both had that same, and I had done the PCT, so we both just like knew how to through hike. We just
Hmm.
like were able to
Vibing.
do it, vibe together, right? Even though like we had literally never been on a hike. Had we been on a hike? No, I don't even think we've been on like a day hike together before. We just like knew each other well enough to just be like, this is what's gonna work, you know? Um, and I did the JMT with my mom. We also did the High Sierra Trail together, but JMT was like 20 something days. And when I'm with my mom, I'm definitely like the trip leader. She's just like, whatever you want to do, like we're doing, or
You're my
like,
guide,
but you have
honey.
to, I am the guide, yeah, basically. But it's like you have to like, I always say that if you are through hiking with somebody or hiking with somebody, like you have to, if you're together, like if you are together, you have to meet in the middle always.
Mm.
And usually your hikes should always be to the person with like the least amount of experience.
Hmm.
So if you are like that person, like that is
Yeah. You put
the
them in
more
the front.
experience or the
That was,
faster or
yeah.
whatever, like
That
you have
that
to
that was always our rule with
cater.
the kids. The slowest goes in the
Yeah.
front, and that's how we pace.
Okay, so we don't do it. I don't do it that way. I am like slowest in the back, but the person
Why?
in no, but the person in the front has to be like on like they have to be mitigating.
Sure.
So like when I was doing the Wonderland with my friend, I was slower than him. He's like 6 feet tall or something. Like he has longer legs. He wanted me to be in the front. He wanted me to be the front hiker.
Hmm.
And I had hiked the PCT, okay? So like I had endurance. Like I can hike, But I'm not the fastest hiker. I don't hike 3 miles an hour. Like I am, especially uphill. Like no.
Yeah.
Our very first, I didn't last half a mile with me, like with him right behind me when we were on the Wonderland Trail. We had to climb from like the White River, I think, something like that, campground up to like the Sunrise area. And it's like a pretty steep climb, switchback, but just like it's a climb. And he was behind me talking, and I'm wheezing because it was like my first backpacking trip, like of the summer. First basically big hike after the PCT a year later. Like I had not trained or planned or whatever. And I was like, this isn't gonna work. I can feel you behind me. I can feel you breathing on my neck and I can hear you talking to me. Just go and wait for me at the top of the climb,
I'll see
please.
you up there.
I'll see you up
Get
there.
away
Like,
from me.
like stop breathing on me.
I can feel your hot
But then,
breath.
yeah, ugh. But like, with my mom, like I'm in the front, like I'm faster.
Yeah.
Which is great because I like to take pictures and like take my time, but it's like I hike ahead and then I kind of like wait if I can't see her anymore. I just kind of hang out and wait and then say, "Do you want to take a break or do you want to keep hiking?" And then, you just kind of get into that groove and figure that out as you
Yeah.
go. But
Yeah.
I I like both. I think
Yeah.
like as I've gotten older, I've liked the company more, maybe just because I don't want to sit with my own thoughts for any longer than I really need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like traveling too. Like I definitely like when I went to Europe this summer, I was like, man, like
Yeah. Would have
that
been nice to
decision
share it with.
fatigue. Like it would have been
Yeah.
nice to like have somebody and you just like kind of want that those like shared memories. Like
Yeah.
no one cares when I talk about the hike I did in Montenegro. Like, because it was like everybody's like, cool. Like, there's no one to like
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
remember that. Remember how like
Remember
the
this
weather
crazy story?
was
Yeah.
and like the like climb at the end looked a little sketchy, that scramble, and I was like, I don't know if we should do it, but you did it anyways.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can say that to myself.
And then it's crickets.
And then it's like, yeah, no one else cares. Everybody's
Anyone?
like, yeah, okay.
Bueller? Bueller? Anyone? Anyone? Nope.
Insert cricket
Yeah.
sound effect.
Yeah, I should. I haven't started to do sound effects. I don't know that I'll start now or ever. We'll see.
But
We'll
yeah,
see.
so
Maybe if I eventually get a producer. No.
yeah,
I don't want
no,
it to be cheesy.
no,
Never. No sound
we don't need
effects.
to.
You
No
heard
sound
it here
effects.
first. No.
Yeah, we did our own sound effects. But
That's
yeah,
right.
so there's like the memories, like forming part is
Yeah.
always fun when you're able to like be like, yeah, I remember that one time. But when you're
Yeah.
doing it just to yourself, you're just kind of like, okay,
Just me locked up with my thoughts.
yeah. Then one day you might forget them all.
Oh God.
Not
Just
to
gotta
get dark, but
write write them all down or just get them all on all the podcasts. Have them recorded.
yeah.
Yeah. How cool would that be too? Just to
Let me just
have them
a
all downloaded
spoken
somewhere.
spoken
Yeah.
journal. Yeah,
Yeah.
every
That'd be
story.
really cool. Be so cool. Um, so yeah, you've been kind of all over the place. You have a hiking blog.
Hmm.
Like how are you doing life right now? Give us an update. Any tips for other dirtbags trying to make it work, scrapping along? I think those were your words in our exchange. You've been
Scrapping
like
along,
scrappy.
trying to
Yeah, you've
make
been
it
kind of
work.
scrapping. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now is difficult. The job market is kind of shitty.
It's not good.
Um,
No bueno.
Not great. So I have been self-employed, I guess you would say. Um, that money that's not making a lot of money, I'll just be honest. So it's off the good graces of my parents that I am able to still like be alive and function. Um, so very
What's
nice.
what's
Have a
family
lot of
for?
favors. Yeah, the IOU list is like growing, right? Like at this point.
Put it on my tab, mom and dad.
Put it on the tab. Thanks.
I
At least I own my car out right now.
always say that to
Like
my
paid off
dad.
that loan, so
He gets
that's,
so pissed. Yeah, he's like, "You're 37." I'm like, "Put it on my tab, Dad. Thanks."
it's always one of those things you're like kind of hate admitting it because everybody's like, "Oh, you're not scrapping along. You
Yeah,
have like help," and it's like, yeah, well, does anybody get there without a little bit of help? So
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, life is just kind of like trying to figure that out. I was able to monetize my blog. That was like a whole project in 2024 was just moving my blog to be able to like get some money from it finally because it had been a passion project, really just like a hobby for a while, and it was like I used it just to like write down the PCT stuff. I took notes every day, so it was basically just like a daily journal.
yeah.
That stuff has left the online sphere. It's just in my notes app now, and I have a backup copy like on a hard drive. But yeah, it's not like SEO, it's not SEO friendly or optimized. So like it's just taking up space.
Yeah.
But so I mean that brings in some money, right? Photography things. I love I've written a little bit for Trails magazine. Have you heard of them?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, they're like a quarterly like editorial print magazine. Really cool. Really like that. I was a subscriber before a contributor, but it's a great physical like piece of art really to have, which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all
It's
focused around like hiking, backpacking, bike packing,
oh nice. Yeah.
like raft packing.
Really
Is
cool.
that I don't know if it's called raft packing,
Yeah,
whitewater
sure. Why
packing,
not?
raft packing, something like that. But
Yeah.
they do like fun things. Like they did an article I think in the first issue that was like skate like someone was like skate packing, like
That's
skateboard
yeah.
packing, like
That's
whatever. So
exactly what
just
I imagined. I didn't know that
yeah.
was the thing.
I,
Very
yeah.
cool.
So, like kind of like trying to find those like fun and interesting things that are happening in the outdoor sphere.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, so, like odd jobs like that, social media, as they say, content creation,
I'm a
like
content creator.
content creator. So yeah, just like taking money and jobs where they come,
Yeah.
as they come.
Making it work. All good.
I did my taxes today for last year,
Oh
so like
God.
it did bring in
I
some
gotta
money last year, so at least we're like headed in the right like upward direction, but
I gotta do that too. Thanks a lot, Emily. I forgot.
oh,
No, they're not that bad. It's pretty straightforward
that's
for
good.
me right
Straightforward.
now, which is good.
Sometimes you get those questions on there and I use like the free tax
I know.
filing whatever online and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, what is this asking me? I need a
What?
dictionary to look up this word.
I love when in parentheses it's like this is very rare and probably doesn't apply to you and I'm like, awesome,
Okay,
next.
then no. Yeah, then why are you asking me? Yeah,
I'm like, I don't live a complicated life anyways.
I don't. Just have a I just have a plain old W-2. That's all.
Yeah.
Boring old
Uh,
me.
boring. So
Super boring.
boring. So boring.
What tell me about I'm sure this is like an annoying question, but I just want to dig in more to maybe one or two of your favorite like all-time trips or part of a trip or a
Mm.
hike, anything in that realm. Or if there's a particular like story that you were like, ah, hell yeah. This is what sets my soul on fire and I need to share it.
Oh gosh. Oh, favorites. Favorites is so hard. It's always so hard.
Or like wildest. I know you maybe already told the wildest story about the kidnapper. And I need his
Yeah,
name. I need his
that's
name again. I need to like write it down.
oh yeah, James Perillo.
James, I'm not forgetting about you.
Just like Google him like really quick
James
and just like
Perillo. Okay, it's on my
it's like two L's.
it's gonna be in the show notes.
And shout outs.
P
Oh,
as in
shout
poop.
outs. Check it out.
P as in poop. Perillo.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Poopy. Poopy head. Yeah.
Poopy head James.
Yeah.
Shithead James.
Yeah. There we go. Um, oh gosh. I know there's I mean, it's crazy because there's been so many hikes and stuff that I have done. Favorite wildest.
Or maybe
It's I
yeah,
feel like
recent. Yeah.
I mean, I will say that something that was really fun that I was totally unprepared for was the GR20 in Corsica that
I
I
was gonna ask
did.
you about that. Look, see?
The
It was
so like it's
foreshadowing.
foreshadowing. That one was again something that wasn't planned out the best. A friend of mine, I basically posted on my Instagram stories like I had like not a month, but like a little less than a month of like unplanned time in Europe because again, the bones, but not fully planned. And she's like, I'm going to be hiking the GR20 in Corsica. Like, why don't you come and join me for that time? And I was like, ooh, like what are the dates? Like, let me like look into this. Like, could I make it work feasibly with like my next flight, like from Paris, essentially, like out to Croatia? And yes, but barely. Like very tight schedule, essentially. Like everything had to go according to plan, which I still didn't like entirely know the plan. Like, also did not even book most of the campsites because they were already booked online. And, but apparently, like, you could still just like pay when you got there because it's not fully booked.
Mm,
Oh, kind of like one of those weird things when you're reading something in a different language and you're like, ah, and then you're just like going off of what other people have
yeah.
said
Is this the
online
right
because there's not really,
translation
yeah.
type of thing? Yeah.
But yeah, so that ended up like I mean, I ended up bailing. Like I did not finish that hike. I actually fell on a descent on the third day and I went like face first into a rock
Oh,
like while I was scrambling essentially. So this hike, I don't know, I'll just tell everybody, the GR20 in Corsica is not so much of a hike, but a scramble situation.
mm.
It took us like our second day on the trail. I think it took us like 9 hours to go 6 miles between the refugios
Oh
or
my
the
goodness.
refuge, the les refuges, as they would say in French. But it was rough. I was like, what the hell? Like, I was beat down so bad. And I was just kind of like, how hard could it be? They talk about it's like the hardest hike in Europe. And I'm like, how hard could it be, really?
I'm a
You know,
pro, seasoned
like,
pro. Bring it
like,
on.
okay, like it's the hardest hike. But like everything I had read, I was like, this sounds doable. This sounds
Yeah.
doable. Like, I could totally do this. And like, it was hard. Like I was totally just like, oh my God, I'm like physically exhausted. But I didn't realize how nervous I would be about some of the like sketchiness of some of the like moves and the terrain. It was truly like class 3 in like scrambling in certain spots. I
Dang.
would say that like it was mainly class 2. Like definitely class 1, like day 1, class 1. Like one class 2 thing where you have to like down climb and there's like a chain like chained into the rock. And by the way, it was pouring down rain when we were doing that. So that's exciting. And there was a whole line. I mean, we're like in a line of people. We're just like one by one going because it's pouring down rain and
Jeez.
it's a river on the trail. And there's like this ravine that is like turning into a waterfall that probably was not a waterfall before that day. It was like the downpour was wild. And I was like, I'm sorry.
That's scary.
I had read that like September, early September was like really nice in the Mediterranean. Like I was not
Surprise!
anticipating a deluge downpour
Oh my
of
goodness.
rain, like at all, like at all. And I had been checking the weather and I was like, this doesn't sound great. Like, but I don't know how bad it's going to be because again, like I don't know the best weather apps to use for France, you know.
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm kind of just like, okay, Apple Weather says this.
Apple weather, you were wrong.
Like, whatever. I'm like, it said, like, Apple Weather said it was going to rain, but like, I didn't know how bad it was going to rain. So,
Yes.
anyways, when you are scrambling on slick rock the rest of the time after it had poured down rain, things are even sketchier because the rock doesn't just dry. It was not great. So, anyways, it was just like after I fell too on that day 3, and we were going down, I could like see the chalet. It was like at the like this little ski resort in the mountains up
Hmm.
there. I could like see it and I was like, we're almost there. But after I fell, I was just like, you are in over your head, I think a little bit with like the weather that had happened and like now like I was like I have to take a day off, like my face hurts. I was like my wrist was just like completely bruised from like catching my fall. I like ripped my pants, like everything, and I was like I'm feeling beat down. So that was pretty wild. I mean, like that one, like that's another thing. I think I downloaded the little guidebook for the phone like a couple weeks before leaving, and I was like, yeah, yeah, okay, cool. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
I
And the
got this.
guidebook made it sound like pretty fine, you know? And I was like, it probably would be fine without rain, or like more fine.
Yeah.
But the rain was an issue, and then the day off was an issue, and then I was like, well, I guess I could hike halfway, but the like I'm not gonna be able to like once we took the day off, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to finish it because of the schedule. So it was like, okay, either bail here where like you can get a ride back to the train and get out, or you hike halfway and then
Take your chances.
in a couple days, like
Yep.
essentially like you get back eventually. But um yeah, decided to bail. And then I ended up in Chamonix, which
Hmm.
wasn't planned. But then it was
Well,
snowing in Chamonix.
nice or not nice?
It was
Sometimes that doesn't
beautiful.
suck. Yeah.
So beautiful, but like didn't get to do. I went to go do the hike, like the hike I really wanted to do. I think it
Yep.
was like I want to say it was like Lac Blanc or something, maybe. But I took the gondola or like the lift up, and I was like one of the only people on the gondola, which like clue number one. And then I was like, oh wow, it's like so windy up here. It's like cold. And I was like, oh, but I really want to like go to the lake still. And then I walk over to the actual chairlift, like because I was like in a gondola, and then I walked over to the chairlift that was like open. And it wasn't even running, like whatever. So like walked over to the guy and I was like, "Can I ride the chairlift?" And he was like grumbled in French. And then he like turned it on and like let me go up, but it's like there's nobody else. It's like
He's like, sure, get on.
crazy.
I'll show
Yeah,
this
like
girl, give
okay.
her a good time
Yeah.
all by herself.
And I'm like not prepared. I was in Corsica in the Mediterranean, like clothing wise, let's just say
Hmm.
this. Like I had
Yep.
left luggage and warmer clothes in Paris with a family friend. So I literally just had like my backpacking like for Corsica gear, and I bought one merino wool long sleeve top in Chamonix because I realized it was like cold and there was snow coming in. So I was like, "Ah, I'm just gonna be like a little bit more warm." And I was frozen by the time I got to the top of that chairlift. The wind was
Ooh.
wild, like whipping snow and ice just like from the top. I couldn't see, like I could barely see like the mountains like right in front of me and across the way. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna hike the lake. I stood there for a little bit and I like thought about it and I was like, I can't feel my fingers anymore and I'm wearing
Oh man.
gloves. And then I was like, I guess like, and there's no one else up here. Probably wouldn't be the smartest thing in the world. So I went back to the chairlift and I asked him to turn it back on again.
I was gonna
To
say it was
come
still
down.
running, or you had to ask him again.
No, he stopped it. They stopped it again. So I'm like, what are these people doing though? Like, why don't they just stop it?
Yeah.
But it was funny because there was another guy like that was getting on with me, like on the chairlift to go up, and he had his skis. Like he was going out to ski tour. Like and the guy and the like guy like was again, he was grumbling about him too. Like
Yeah.
he was grumbling about both of us, I'm
Oh
pretty
my
sure.
goodness.
Maybe he wasn't grumbling about me, he was only grumbling about the skier. But like I was also like, what is this guy gonna do? Is he gonna ski tour? Like there's only like a couple inches on the ground. Like I can see the rocks like on the ground. I was like, well, I hope he just makes it out alive and is
He's like,
fine.
let's
But the
go.
wind was wild and I was kind of bummed I couldn't do the hike I wanted to do, but I mean, I already know I want to go back there.
Yeah.
I have to do the
You're
TMB at some point, so
you were 0 for 2. You gotta redeem. Have a redemption
over
tour.
two. I got like one good hike in Chamonix that I was happy that I got to do. So at least
Yes.
like got a hike in, and I got to go to the top of Aiguille du Midi, which was so beautiful. And it's so weird though, coming from like a United States like perspective on like wilderness and mountains, and then like
Mm-hmm.
suddenly having ridden like two gondolas and you're at like the top of like
Yeah.
one of the coolest looking peaks like in the Alps
Yeah.
and you're like, this is
The Alps are
so
crazy.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They look, yeah. They're super rugged, really different.
they're so rugged, but you can get into them so much easier than
Mm-hmm.
like anything in America. It's like very weird. Like
Yeah.
it's such a weird dichotomy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's super beautiful over there.
yeah. I don't know if that answers your question. I guess it's like craziest.
Yeah. That is crazy.
My wild
I'm glad you're not dead.
expats of this.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not either.
Face planting.
Oh, the first thing I asked was like, did I lose a tooth? Like, do I have
Yeah. Did you
like
have
are
any
my teeth
injuries?
intact?
No injuries
No,
other than
thank
just
God.
bruised wrist and a
Because
bruised ego.
well, medical care is a lot less expensive over in Europe, so I probably would have been okay. But like, I did have travel medical insurance.
Yeah. Smart.
Good job. But I was like, oh, you still have like another month plus like of this trip,
Mm.
like don't let's not put yourself into harm's way again.
As RuPaul would say, and don't fuck it up. I don't know if you're a RuPaul's
I
Drag Race
haven't
fan.
seen RuPaul's
Oh,
Drag Race,
it's
no,
so
but I
good.
love that.
Oh, it's so good.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
You don't get these opportunities all the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't want a tooth implant or
Nope.
whatever.
Nope, I don't. I see people with veneers on, and I'm like, why would you ever want veneers? Like, file down all your teeth and then have fake chiclets.
Yeah,
I'm like, what? No. I'm like, I want these suckers when I'm 90.
keep them. Don't want to keep
Yeah,
them here.
I want them. I want these. No, I don't want a veneer. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Weird. They look
Yeah,
so like, it's like the, little
they're
pieces of
like
gum
too. Yeah, yeah,
everywhere. Ugh. I get freaked out when I know people have them. I'm so like
I
fixated
feel
on
like
it. I
I
can't
like
think of
don't
anything
see
else.
enough people to like know if they have them or not. I'm like,
Yeah. I feel like the My Favorite Murder girls both got, I don't know if you listen to that podcast.
no, I don't know that.
Georgia and Georgia Hardstark and Karen Kilgariff. I love them. I'm obsessed. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite podcasts. You have to check it out.
Okay, I'll try it.
They've been on since like 2016, since right
Oh
around when
wow,
podcasts were starting. They've been around a long time.
it's a long time. Yeah,
Massive following. They probably have, I don't know, they have a lot
yeah.
of followers. Super popular podcast, My Favorite Murder. Check it out. But I'm pretty sure they both got veneers, and they've recently started
Oh,
doing
interesting.
like YouTubing they didn't have like the video part of their YouTube
Okay.
until recent months.
Recently. Yeah. That's turned
And
into a thing.
so you wouldn't see a lot. I mean, on their social media, you'd see their like some videos and some content with them, or some like
Yeah.
live shows that they'll do or whatever. But now they're doing a lot more like live video content.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you guys, they're very successful. Like they're both multimillionaires now.
Right.
And I'm like, they sold out their teeth. Damn it. Not you two ladies.
I know,
Why?
it's so funny because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, am I just don't pay attention?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
like, do I like basically?
Right.
Sometimes I'm just like, I must not pay attention enough because like I don't notice it enough on
Yeah.
anybody else,
And maybe that's just their real teeth and they just look really
and they
nice
just look
now.
perfect.
I don't know. I'm hoping. But
I would say
I don't think I'm wrong.
braces did me fine, but then I stopped wearing my retainer on the PCT.
Gotta wear that retainer. I'm a grinder, so I gotta wear it.
Oh, I am. Oh, you know what? To go back to your question, I used to have, well, I still have TMJ, but I used to grind my teeth at night. I did not do that after the PCT.
That's
It was like
amazing.
a sudden like decrease of stress.
There's a prescription for you. It's nature, everyone.
Go spend 5 months out hiking and like
You'll
maybe
stop.
you'll stop grinding your teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had like the full, yeah, like the mouth guard
hmm
and
I
everything.
don't wear a mouth. It's
Yeah.
just the retainer, but I should probably be wearing a mouth guard. My dentist said I should wear something on the top and the bottom, but then they wanted to charge me
Oh,
like
yeah.
$800 for it. I'm like, I'm not doing that. What is dental
Yeah.
insurance even for then? My God.
I had I had it, they transformed my retainer into a all-in-one situation.
Contraption.
Yeah. It was like an anti-grind device and a retainer to keep my teeth in place. I'm sure that cost a lot of money and now
Yeah.
it's moot. It
Yeah.
won't fit. I know it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And it
Yikes.
probably wouldn't be wise to try to get it to fit without dental oversight.
Yeah. Gotta get refit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Couple two last questions. You
Yes.
ready?
Go.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone who's dreaming of quitting their job to live like this, but is scared to take the
Mm.
leap?
My piece of advice would be save money and just do it. I mean, there's so many, yeah, I think if you think about it too, if you think about anything too much, you're going to talk yourself out of it.
I was just gonna say the
Yeah.
overthinking, people get stuck in that too.
Yeah. Because I,
Just
I still do that though. Like,
yeah,
cause
me
like
too.
when I went to Arizona, like just this past weekend, I was like almost paralyzed at one point. Like I went for a conference, but I was like, you have all this time afterwards. You can do whatever you want, blah, blah, blah.
hmm
And then you're almost like paralyzed with like, what do I do? Like,
hmm
you know, and it's like you can easily just start going down a
This
path in your
spiraling.
mind, spiraling exactly, just like with all these things. And at one point, I was just like, just stop thinking about like anything else. Get on all trails and pick a hike to do right now. Like, just do it. Get
Right.
off your ass. Stop thinking. Just do it.
hmm
Not to pull like Nike's little slogan in, but like
Just do
literally
it.
just
Yeah.
pick, just like, and you know what? Just, maybe that's it. Maybe you don't have to like give up everything completely, but you just make that
Right.
next step to like
Just start
something that you
small.
really want to do,
hmm
like, and just go out and do it and give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the best things that I just did stuff in my 20s. It was just wild,
Yeah.
not reckless, but I just kind of scraped by. I kind of
Yeah.
lived off of nothing.
Yeah.
Literally almost all of my 20s, and I think that was the best. I have so many like good memories and such
Yeah.
rich like experiences, and I think about that so often, and
Yeah.
I am so glad I did that, and I did receive a lot of criticism from my family, but now looking back, and for some reason
Yeah.
I just didn't listen to them. And I'm so
Yeah.
glad I did not listen to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would be miserable in like corporate world. I mean, like that doesn't stop me, you know, from trying to get hello, I need some money. So like
Yeah.
applying job stuff. But like, yeah, like there's just something so unappealing about certain parts of it. So
hmm
I mean, I'm so happy that my past self decided to not
Yeah.
go to medical school and slave away, because I think especially just like thinking time wise of like what would have been happening in the world and if I
Hmm.
had actually gone through with that, and I'm just
Right.
like, oh my God, you dodged such a huge bullet.
Yeah.
You would have been like in
Yeah.
medical school during
Miserable.
COVID. You
Yeah.
could have been miserable. You
Hmm.
realize that you can only be this smart when you literally throw so much of your effort behind it
Hmm.
instead of like being happier with doing less. And I mean, I think that's why I stayed at REI for so long, because like it didn't take that much brain power
Yeah.
to like be good at a retail job and stuff. You just kind of like do things and you help people, and get to talk about being outside all day. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. That would be hella fun. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that would be my advice to 20 somethings. Just like go out and experience and explore and
Yeah.
go mess up and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You have your whole life to work and to do all those things. I was listening to, this is
Yeah.
also like a huge wake up call. I think we as we get older, we become more aware of death and that there's only a finite amount of time. And
Yeah.
I was listening to Jesse Itzler. He's married to Sarah, I forget her last name. She founded Spanx.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um, and so he's been very successful like with his own businesses and companies and things, but
Hmm.
he is such like a time freak and planning things out and making sure he's
Yeah.
maximizing his time with his
Yeah.
family and all the things, all the epic things he wants to do in his life.
Yeah.
And he said something about, well, I or he was talking to somebody on a podcast or something, and
Hmm.
he was saying that he only sees, or the person he was interviewing only sees his parents like once a year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and, and my parents, and I think this person's parents are in their 70s.
Yeah.
And if on average people are living until, let's say, 82, and
Yeah.
I see my parents like once or twice a year. I see my mom
Hmm.
more, she comes out and visits more.
Yeah.
That means that if my parents live until they're 82, I'm
Hmm.
only going to see them 12 more times in my life.
Yeah. That's wild.
And that blew my freaking mind. Like, I know I don't see them that much,
Yeah.
but that just really wakes a person up when you think about how
Yeah.
short your life is and that you just should go
Yeah.
experience things and stop procrastinating and just jump in and go do it.
Yeah.
Because
It's a very weird thing to think about. The funny thing is though, I realized recently, this was like maybe like last week or 2 weeks ago, I'm 31. So I was like, there's, that whole thing when you turn 30, everybody's like, oh my God, right? Like your 30s, like you're supposed to have it
you're
figured out or whatever. You're like
practically
finally an
taking a
adult.
dirt nap
Like,
soon.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're basically like, you're
You're
basically in the
dead.
grave. But then I realized, I was like, wow, you have 9 years until you're 40. I mean, I'll be 32 soon, so it's like 8 years. I was like, wow, 8 years is actually like a really long time. I was like, you
Hmm.
felt like you were like, I'll just use REI as an example just because it's the longest work situation I ever had. 6 years. I was like, that's longer than like you worked at that company. Like that's like 8 years is actually a long time. Like you actually have so much time.
Hmm.
There's like this weird, it happens like, you feel like you have no time, and then suddenly you're like, and then I'm sorry, 40 is the new 30. So
Facts.
like you have 10 years until you're 50. Like I
Hmm.
think that like I mean there's a lot of shit going on in the world as we've talked about, but like you got to stay positive. You got to think that there's more great things to come and that we do want to keep living in this world. So like wow, like and 50 is going to be the new 40. I mean like basically just going to be like 10 years of
A
life is
decade.
like extended, right? So it's
Yep.
like but just think of all the things that you can do in 10 years. Like that's wild.
Yeah, a
I
lot.
mean, like, but there's some things though, like you said, I mean, like, you just, it's like time is just kind of crazy. Like, I mean, my grandpa is turning 98 in a couple days, literally a couple days, celebrating on Sunday. But you're just like, What? Like, that's a long, long
Yeah,
time.
98 years. Yeah.
And you're just
Phew.
like, will, you kind of just go in this weird thing like, am I going to make it to 98? Do I want to make it to 98? What's my
Yes.
life going to be like when I'm 98? Like, quality of life. And, obviously there's so many things that can happen and go wrong, but I just, yeah, there is a weird thing that kind of starts happening, I think, as the older you get. You're really hyper aware of how little time you have left, but also how much time, like if you stop and think
Yeah.
about it,
How
you
much
actually do
you
have
can
a
pack
lot of
in.
time.
Yep.
You can pack in a lot, and you don't have to do it in like a crazy fashion either.
Right.
I always joke that my bucket list, like, the joke in the family is we're talking about something or we're seeing something, and it's like Morocco, and I go, oh, I want to go there so bad. Like everything is on the list, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Like my mom will be like, "You have things on the list that I've like never even heard of." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Like the list is like
Infinite.
forever, infinite." I was like,
Yeah.
and there's a part of me, I'm like, I saw a question online, I think it was on Threads or something. Someone was like, "Where would you be okay that's on your bucket list that you would be okay with never actually getting to go to in your lifetime?" And I was like, I don't like that question. Like next. I didn't answer it, but
The
it
Amer
made me think
the
though.
American South.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, because we watched, there's a little documentary on TV right now, the Americas that Tom
No,
Hanks is
there's
narrating.
beautiful things in the South. Yeah.
I know, so I was like, oh my God, like the cute little bears in Louisiana that live in
Actually,
the tree
I love New
trunks.
Orleans.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I was there in the fall to see
Yeah.
Taylor Swift in
It's
concert and
wonderful.
with like some friends, and
Yeah.
it's my third time in New Orleans and I love that city.
Yeah.
The food is,
Yeah. People
but
are friendly. Beautiful music
yeah,
scene.
but there's,
It smells like death and shit. I was at a
yeah,
conference there for work,
I
and
would
I
never
was
want to go in the summer.
having dinner with a bunch of people, and a local was with us, and he was like, I was
Yeah,
like, yeah. He's like, how y'all like in New Orleans? And we were like, yeah, it's
no,
good. I was like, yeah, it's good, but it kind of, and he's like, I'm like, kind of smells. I don't know what I said. Something about it smelling, and he goes, yeah, it
yeah.
smells like. He's like, yep, smells like death and shit. Like he had said that 1,000 times before in his
So
life.
matter of fact.
I'm like,
Yeah.
he's right. He's
Yeah.
exactly
He
right.
knows.
Yeah, he knows. But other
There's
than
a
that, it's
reason
very
they bury
charming.
people above ground there.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. The
The swamp.
swamps.
Ugh, yep.
Yeah. But so yeah, there's just like there's endless places to see. I don't know if it's possible to see all of them, you know. That's another thing that puts time into perspective. Can you see it all? I don't know.
Yeah,
I see people who are, on those quests to visit every country in the world or whatever, those like
yeah.
crazy
I've seen that.
travelers, right? And I'm just like, I don't know if I actually want that. So it's probably a good
Yeah,
thing. I should probably like pass
yeah.
that off as like, this is good. I don't think I need to visit every country in the world.
Right.
I
I don't.
want to go to ones that I really truly love. I don't want to just
Yeah.
like check a box to say that I've
Right.
done it.
It's very surface level in a lot of ways too, and
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to actually live abroad and immerse in the culture and get to know people and
Yeah.
see the same people at the local. They call them kombinis. They're like the little delis, the little corner shops.
So cute. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd call
Yeah.
him
Just
Mr. Lawson. There's like three or four main kombinis. There's Lawson, Family Mart, 7-Eleven.
okay.
Um, but Lawson being one of them,
Uh-huh.
I think I did know his name. I forget it now because I've been out of there for a few years now. But I
Yeah.
would just call him Mr. Lawson. And we would just kind of have a little banter. He had enough
Little thing.
English. I
Yeah.
had a tiny bit of Japanese. We would make it work. And
Yeah.
yeah, we really looked forward to seeing each other, you know? And so
That's so
if I
cute.
was just there
Yeah.
on vacation, you know, that
That wouldn't have happened.
probably wouldn't have happened. Yeah.
You can make it happen in some ways. We did that when we were in Italy it was our family and our family friends. So there were eight of us. And we were just joking about this, but we were staying in a little town called Ciano in Italy. So it's like not is it Positano? It's like down on the Amalfi Coast. We weren't like in
Hmm.
those crazy towns and we weren't in Naples. It was like in between. And there was a little shop, little corner shop, little cafe. And we discovered it because it was like a walking distance from the house that we had rented. And the crazy eight American two families that can be very boisterous
Oh yeah.
when they're together.
They remembered you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like every day. We went in every day because it was like a cafe. Oh well, there was a grocery store. So there were two things. There was like the cafe and then there was the little market. and we were known in both. So we made friends with the two ladies. And one of our family friends, she actually spoke Italian. So like we were able to do the English Italian thing pretty well. But yeah, we were the ones that got pastries, like 10 pastries every morning. And
You're
like
like, the Americans are back.
Americans are here. And we like literally announced to them that we were leaving. Like on our last morning, we're like, we leave tomorrow. Like, and they were like sad and they were just like that we had never even like told them like where we were from and stuff. They're like, where are you from? Like, we're gonna come visit you next time, you know?
Yeah,
And
funny.
super cute. But yeah, it was just funny because like, yeah, they knew the Americans.
Yeah. Oh, the
They seem to
Italians.
have liked us, so they seem to have
Yeah.
liked us a lot.
Oh,
But you know,
yes.
I guess you could never
They're
know.
very
But
friendly, those Italians. I studied
hey,
abroad
we're
in Italy for 4 months, so
oh,
and
I was
one of
in
my
Rome for like 5 weeks. It was so
yeah,
great
yeah,
as
it's great.
another study abroad separate from the Peru situation. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love Italy. I love
Yeah. It's a good time.
Italy's great. Yeah.
It is. All right, last question. Ready?
Last question. Rapid
If you
fire? No, just kidding.
rapid fire. No, I don't like rapid fires.
No, me neither.
Those are lame. Uh if you could go back and give 2018 Emily one piece of advice before she set off on the PCT, what would it be? Before this whole thing started.
Hmm, that's a good question because I feel like hmm, just like
Or maybe
do
nothing.
like
Throw Emily in
yeah,
again
throw her
into the
to the
deep end.
wolves.
Throw
Yeah,
her to the
she'll
wolves
figure
into
it
the
out.
deep end. She'll figure it out just like she did before.
She figured it out eventually. I think like just with hindsight, do what you, but I think I learned this pretty quick on the trail. Um, do what you want to do out there. Don't like um don't give in to like other people's hikes or
Agenda.
feelings,
Sure.
like agenda exactly. Like you started this on your own. You want to do it the way that you want to do it and be okay with that. And I think that that's kind of easy. It's kind of easy advice to give
No, I
because
think that's great advice.
like like when you're out on a thru hike, you know, like I guess like it is kind of harder for some people. I was very able to just be like, yeah, I'm like I gave up my life. Like I gave up this time. Like I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. Like, you know, and yeah, some days that was like kind of scary. And yeah, I did like separate from people I was hiking with and things like that. But I think you have to know that like if you didn't start with somebody, like every single person that you met out there, and it's just like with life too. You didn't start with anybody at life, really. I guess maybe your parents, but you know,
Yeah.
like you you gotta like do it on your own. And then like when you if you are gonna make a commitment to somebody, well, okay, that's a whole nother story. But like do stay true to yourself and do what you intended to do when you went out there. And if you are feeling like I don't know, the way that like your hike is going isn't like the way that you thought it would go or had anticipated, like maybe it's time to break away and take a new path, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's fine too. Like you could like start the trail and think you really wanted it and maybe it sucked and you're like, "Oh, this was not the right decision actually. I don't actually want to be out here." Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, get off. There's no I feel like especially nowadays if you like quit a through hike, it's not as like, "Oh my God, you quitter. Like what a loser."
Yeah. But if you're miserable, like why? I mean, you're not out there to be
Yeah.
miserable.
No, you're out there to, yeah, you're
It's not
supposed to like be having
it's,
fun.
it's not supposed to be a complete slog and
There are some
sufferfest, you
days
know?
you will be miserable some days though. So you
Yeah.
do have to stick it out
Absolutely.
through some misery. You have to decide, you know, just how miserable you are. But yeah, I think like just be true to yourself and do what you came out to do. And kind of just goes through with life as well.
Hell yeah. Way to end it. And don't hike with anyone named James. No
No,
one named
no
your name's
one,
James?
no, your
No.
name's James.
I'm
No.
good. You can just
I know. I'm like, oh,
fuck
he might
off
like.
up the trail.
I definitely know he goes by. I know he went by other names, so that's why little. He's
Ask him for
crazy,
identification.
fucking crazy. I'm pretty sure he's in prison now. I'm like
You
so
better be.
hopeful.
I'm
I
gonna
haven't
look him
done a
up.
lookup. Haven't done a lookup in a while, but
I'm after you, James.
you're gonna.
Watch
We
out.
are. I hope he's put away.
Cuckoo. Yeah,
I
I
don't
hope
know
so
how
too.
much faith I have in our
I'm about to Google
system,
him.
but
I'm about to send in a
I need to
write-in.
figure it out.
I'm gonna write in to my favorite murder
I feel
about
like he
this
was last
fucker.
seen on the East Coast somewhere, so
Because
closer to
then,
you. So maybe there's more,
oh,
like, or
we'll
more
fuck up.
news that you have access to.
We'll fuck him up New York style. He's gonna get out of here
Yeah,
real quick if he's in New York. People aren't gonna tolerate that. No, no.
I, I, I. The last thing I heard was that he actually had been arrested, but
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, I'm seriously, I'm gonna write in to my favorite murder, and now like the millions of women that listen to that podcast. I don't know if they're the outdoorsy type. I think some of them maybe are.
But hey,
They're gonna know.
it could be a good story to go after. I mean, he's like literally psycho, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Maybe
don't know if he
maybe
murdered anybody, but
maybe in my mini-sodes I'll do some
oh,
well,
you can do a little like
yeah, I could do a
we're trying
little
to keep those a little bit more uplifting.
I don't know, I want them to be flavorful all over, And definitely, you know
Yeah.
what? Around Halloween time, maybe I'll do some like spooky ones.
Ooh, creepy
The month
stuff.
of October, I'll do some creepy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I know
Yeah.
there's been some like sadly some very sad things that have happened on long trails.
Yeah. I don't love listening to like the horrifying stuff, Like ugh.
No.
There's enough
I know.
like
I
freak
listen to
accidents and stuff that happen that I don't need to like hear about it all the time.
Do you listen to National Park After Dark?
I have a couple times, but not recently.
I
Yeah.
listen to that podcast. I do not listen to the murder ones when I'm by myself.
Yeah. The My Favorite Murder ladies have covered some like creepy stuff in the woods
Yeah.
happening. That's not like their main agenda to do that, but they
Yeah.
happened upon like some outdoor stories. There was it Dirtbag Diaries? I think it was Dirtbag Diaries this last week did one on the Boundary Waters and this man
Oh,
that had been going up there forever, which is like that's like my
that's Minnesota
place.
backyard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my Minnesota where I'm
I want to
from,
go
right?
there so badly.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
you have to. Maybe we could do a trip together sometime.
Oh,
That'd be super
that would be
fun.
so
Because
fun.
I used to guide in the Boundary
Could do
Waters.
like a little community of podcast people. That would be
Yeah.
such a fun group trip.
Yeah, absolutely. We should. But and just knowing it so well,
Yeah.
I was just like listening and I'm like, oh, something because
Yeah.
the beginning of the podcast, it's like, oh, this guy's been going there since he was a kid, and then something happened that like changed how he felt about the Boundary Waters. I'm like, yeah, a freak accident, like something happened, and people die in
Yeah.
there. Like it's
Yeah.
really remote wilderness, and you cannot fuck around. Like
Yeah.
you should be with somebody or like
And
plan
there's
a
like
route.
no roads. There's no
Yeah,
roads.
no, and so yeah, there like a float plane would have to come in and get you or
Yeah.
a helicopter, but there's nowhere to land a helicopter, really.
Yeah.
They would have to hover and then send a thing
Send
down
somebody
to
down,
pull you up or get a float
which are
plane in.
always, yeah.
Yep. Or if you're close enough to
It's,
an entry point, they could try to pull you.
yeah.
But yeah,
Wild.
it's really remote and you should be with somebody that knows what they're doing and or plan a route
Sounds like it.
where you're like fairly close to an entry point the whole time, like your first
Yeah.
time.
One of my
But yeah, I
managers
was like,
told me she had an amazing time in the Boundary Waters.
yeah,
She had like
it's
she did one of those like long, like I don't even know how long it was. She told me, but like week plus with tons of portages and just I
yep,
was like, oh, tell me
yeah,
more, Linda. We're not on the
yeah.
clock right
It's
now.
a dream. It's a dream place. You gotta go.
Want to
Yeah,
go. But yeah, there's some of those podcasts they can be creepy and I'm just like,
I
I don't
know.
want to hear that
Yeah,
when I'm out here by myself
yeah.
hiking.
It's not often,
I'm
but
gonna
it
pretend that
does.
no bad things happen.
Yeah, it does happen. There was a summer I went in. I think it was the weekend. There was like a Boy Scout group out, and one I think a kid died, and a parent
Oh God.
who was
Oh.
chaperoning. It happened to rain a lot, and actually, I was supposed to go in, and the guide in me. I like diverted us. I was like, you guys, we're not going in this weekend. We were supposed to go like right around the same entry point that they went in. They were a little farther in, but we would have been just a few lakes over from them. But it had
Yeah.
rained so hard that summer that the trees roots were loosened up.
Yeah. So a lot of
And then a big
fall.
storm came in and I was like, you guys, we shouldn't go. Let's go to my friend Clyde's. He lives in northern Minnesota, about an hour from Ely,
Yeah.
which is like one of the main towns of the Boundary
Okay.
Waters. That's kind of
Okay.
the launch point.
Okay.
for the one side of it because it's massive.
Hmm.
I said, let's just go to Clyde's. He's got a bunch of really beautiful lakes. He lives in like this beautiful cabin on a river. He'll be happy to have us. Let me call
Yeah.
him. I'm sure. Called him up. He said, "Yep, come on up, girls." So we went and stayed with Clyde for the weekend. That
Thanks,
weekend,
Clyde.
yep, that
Thank
weekend the
God.
storm rolled in and it had been raining like for like a month. And trees
Just
fell on these
fell.
people's tents and killed them. Yeah. So stuff like that, I mean, it happens, you know. It
Yeah.
happens everywhere you go in the
Good
wild and
instincts, though.
yep, I
When
know.
you
I was
know a
like,
place like really well,
yep.
you get those
I
instincts.
had
That's
something
scary,
tugging
though.
at my gut and I was like, I don't feel good about this.
Yeah.
We're not going. It's not worth it.
Gotta trust your gut
Yep. So
always.
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Trust your gut
trust your gut. Thanks for coming
always.
on, Emily. It's been
Thanks,
awesome getting to
Danielle.
know
This
you.
was fun. I
It was so
know.
fun.
This was so fun.
Maybe
If
we'll
Boundary Waters happen, I'm
yeah.
there. I
We're
would
absolutely
love to
doing that.
go.
You know, it would be fun to take to record out in the wilderness a little bit and take some snippets and or do some actual recording around like a campfire.
Campfire stories.
That'd be really
Legit
fun.
campfire stories. It would be
Yeah,
fun.
it'd be so fun.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So
You take
great.
care. We'll be in
Cool. Thanks,
touch.
Danielle. Yeah.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you. Bye. Hey, y'all. Really hope you enjoyed that episode. And I wanted to let you know that I'm launching a Patreon to help keep Dirtbag Therapy alive and growing. Right now, there are only 2 levels of support offered, and the goal is to build some momentum. If we get this thing off the ground, I'll add more perks like exclusive content, live Q&As, and even some road trip postcards. This summer, I am hitting the road to bring you more adventure content, wild stories, and deep dives into dirtbags that I meet on the road and their lifestyle. But that takes time, gear, and gas money. If you want to be a part of this from the start, here's your chance. So if you join the crew, look in the show notes, and the link is below. And if you can't support financially, no worries at all. Rating the show, subscribing, and sharing it with a friend helps so much. So let's keep this adventure rolling. Really appreciate your support.